How we doing, man? You all right?
Testing, testing.
Yeah, not too bad.
Hello, Darren. Hello, Macca. How you doing?
How we doing? I'm all right. You?
All good?
Yeah. Hi.
Let's grab a drink quickly.
It's the first time I've been on my PC all day. It's a first for me, so I'm just kind of like getting settled in.
For work or
No,
recreational?
well, I normally sit on my PC like even on my days off for a little while at least, doing stuff. I've had a PC-free day all day. I'm kind of
Oh,
like,
I thought you meant you'd been sitting at your PC all day. Not
No,
that,
no,
like,
no.
You've only just sat at it.
I've only just sat at it. Yeah. So, yeah, man. All good in the hood. So, yeah, so we don't have any Nicky tonight. He's been busy. Yeah. Was last week a Patreon week? I'm bloody.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, cool.
Because you started off talking about Elden Ring, didn't you? Because it was the Patreon one.
Elden
You knew
Ring.
most people were going to want to know about it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. All coming back to me now. Cool. Cool. All right.
First time.
Sweet. Right, I will get in the zone in a moment.
I'm trying to figure.
I'm just I need to load up my Google Doc. All my notes in it.
You're the only one that uses it, aren't you?
Yeah. It's fine. It's just like I need to write things down because I'm so bloody forgetful. Yeah, I've only played 3 games this week. Not really done a lot of gaming per se.
I was going to say you haven't done you might have done a lot, but across the same games.
Yes, mainly Elden Ring actually. It's fine.
I only started playing games this week on Friday.
How did your job interview go?
Yeah, I got the job.
Oh, brilliant!
Nice.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, got the job. So got the offer. Well, I got it verbally given to me on Friday.
Brilliant.
Got kind of around about the start date, but I'm still waiting for HR to send all the offer letter through before I make a decision on my notice and stuff from my current company. It looks like I'll probably be starting halfway through April, which is fine.
Yeah. Oh, so sweet.
I'll probably be handing my notice in on the 11th, which means I get.
You have to give a month. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I hand it on the 11th, I get that week. I get the week off before I start. So.
Oh yeah, just to chill out, have a recharge.
Yeah, well, they might stick me on garden leave, so I might get 5 weeks off, to be honest.
Well, that'd be fucking quids in, mate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I still probably won't find the time to play any games, but you know, it's one of them.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, are you ready, Darren?
Well, sort of, yeah.
Well, let me know when you've had your smoke. Well, let me know when
I'll
you
be about
finish your
another
smoke.
3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine, mate.
Have you started the stream anyways?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Man, it's all good in the hood. I might actually go and get my hair cut tomorrow. Haven't decided yet. I haven't had it cut in about 8 months.
Wow.
And it's fucking so long.
I know it's time to get cut when it starts to flare out at the back.
Oh, mine's like gone past that stage, mate. It's crazy.
Normally, I know when I get mine cut when I get a 5 o'clock shadow on the top of my head.
Brilliant. So it looks like we're probably going to Australia in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Did you get your stuff sorted out then?
Well, the passports are on the way back now, so I reckon they'll come tomorrow. Because we had the email saying that they were on their way back on Friday. And don't take that long to come back.
Don't you still have to do like the apply for the visas and all that shit?
Yeah, it's a fucking piece of piss, and then you have to do a stupid fucking COVID bullshit test as well, which is 40 quid a pop.
They're going to start charging for them soon as well, the home testing kits.
Yeah, well, we've got a load of them anyway, but to go to Australia, you need like a certificate from a doctor or something. So you have to go to this specific place, and it's £40 each.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it the anal? Is it the anal ones?
Yeah, the old anal probe, mate. Fucking Australians, man. Just and the other thing is like, so the flight is like 22 hours. Yeah, you have to wear a mask the whole time on the plane.
Oh,
So retarded, man.
Seriously. I'll just try and sleep for most of it. But then when you've got young kids, you can't really fall asleep.
Well, no, but obviously you don't have to wear one while if you're eating or drinking. So I said to the missus, "Oh, I'll be spending 22 hours eating and drinking then." Every time a stewardess comes past, I'll have some snacks on the go. You know.
I'll see you on the news that night then.
Yeah.
Passenger got unruly on flight to Australia.
Yeah. Had to make an emergency landing in Taiwan or something.
I was gonna say, you don't fly over Russia, do you, to get there?
No, so it stops off. So last time we went, it stopped off in Taiwan, and then from there to Aussie.
Yeah, fair enough. It's probably a much shorter flight from Taiwan.
Yeah, yeah. So
don't know how you do it.
Well, I hate flying at the best of times, but Mrs. Family live out there, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't mind the actual flight. It's the stress of catching the plane and getting on board and waiting around, because you have to get there like an hour and a half before boarding.
Oh, for international,
usually.
it's I think you have to be like 2 or 3 hours before on an international.
And you're just literally bumming around in an area that you look around in about 15 minutes, and you're like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. I said to the missus, my bag's going to be like just the electrical bag, and I have my laptop in there, 2 switches, 2 tablets, my Evercade.
I hate flying.
Yeah,
I flew to Northern Ireland once, and I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah, that's only about an hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not even that.
I used to fly to Germany like twice a month for work. I did it for about 9 months, and it was
wow.
It's still after 9 months, I still couldn't get the hang of it. I was still like a nervous wreck.
Yeah, it is popping, man. That gets me. I don't like that. And I don't know. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. Right? Why do you need to wear a mask on the plane? Because all the air's recirculated anyway. I mean, most times when I fly, I come off with a cold anyway. You know, I don't think a mask is going to stop that. Yeah.
It's stuffy in here.
Yeah. So dumb. Yeah. Anyway, you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready now, pretty much. Just let me make some noise.
Beans. Cool. All right. Episode 113 today.
Wow.
For the second time round. Okay. So go Macca, then Darren, okay?
Yep. Yeah, that's fine.
Sweet, bro. Oh, let me just 2 seconds, actually. I forgot to put the Twitch onto the socials. Like a Nubenstein. No, I'm really not with it.
Are you feeling a lot better anyway, at least?
Yeah, I feel fine now. Yeah, it took me a while. I've only started feeling normal since really like Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. I'm just I'm on the job hunt at the minute as well now, because fucking my work is starting. They're saying they're going to want us to start coming back to the office soon. And,
properly, or are they going to do like a roll-on, roll-off kind of?
No, just a hybrid. Down? But the problem is, I had to move house about 7-8 months ago, and I'm a 2-hour drive from the office.
Oh,
so
is that both ways, like, or
2 hours each way?
2 hours back.
Yeah, it's 4-hour round trip, mate.
Jesus.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, right? I mean, you know how stupid prices have got for everything, especially in the housing market. So last year, our landlord, because I rent, our landlord put the house on the market because obviously during COVID they weren't allowed to sell houses, and then obviously the rules ended, and then they put the house on the market because the prices went crazy. And then obviously all the rents went up everywhere as well, right? So we physically just can't afford to rent within an hour of where my office is because the prices are just absolutely insane. You're looking at almost $2,000 a month for a 3-bedroom house. Yeah, I've got 2 kids, so you know,
exactly, and pretty much that needs both parents working, basically.
Yeah, and I'm the only one who works. Yeah, as well. So we only got one wage coming in. So we had to move fucking miles away just to have a decent house at a reasonable price. Unfortunately. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. So it's unfortunate. But what can you do? So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about video games. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Hit record. And a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Oh yeah, I've got this cough that won't fucking quit. I think I might have COVID for the second time. Anyway, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 113 for Tuesday, the 8th of March, 2022. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is
Big Macca.
And Sensei Switch.
Well, hey, how we doing?
Very well.
Yeah,
good.
Well.
Nice to have you back. Unfortunately, Nick can't make it this week. He is very, very busy, working his guts out. So hopefully he'll come back next week. Stunty has actually said that he might make a return to do some moaning next week as well, actually. So we look forward to that.
Cool.
Yeah. So he's got a few things wants to get off his chest, which is fair enough. All good in the hood. So I've not done a lot of gaming in relation to playing lots of games in the past week. I've literally only played 3 games, and only one of those games I've only played about 20 minutes of. I think it's going to be this way going forward for a few weeks, unfortunately, for those people listening, because there's a couple of games out at the moment which, personally, I'm just absolutely loving, and I can't see myself coming off them for a while, which is fantastic, and I'm sure at least one of us here has played at least one of those other games. So probably when it comes around to what I've been playing, I'll probably only be talking about the game I played for like 20 minutes, which is fine. This is a normal week show anyway, so yeah, so as I say, that's all good. But there is quite a bit of news as well this week, so that should keep us going. And obviously, any questions? We've had a few questions, which is quite good as well. So all is good. Lots of stuff going on. We'll just go straight into it, Macca. I know you've been a busy man recently, but you've managed to get some gaming in, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Excellent, yeah. Excellent.
Which has shocked me, to be fair.
Well, it was good, mate.
Time.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. I sit there sometimes looking at my PS5 and Xbox, and I think it's just becoming relics. It's just becoming shelf ornaments. I swear to God they are. But yes, I mean, but don't I've not played an awful lot of games. This is it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with. Actually, it was Nikki that put me onto it. Bought Grand Theft Auto, the definitive edition, the trilogy, on eBay for £22.
Oh, right.
And they were launching a patch update to basically fix the game because it was massively broken when it came out and in absolutely shocking condition. And to be fair, I'm actually quite impressed. The old GTA games, I'm not a massive fan of the new ones. I never really played 4 and 5. I played for probably about a 45, maybe to an hour long. I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm a massive fan of Vice City. Vice City are my favourite Grand Theft Auto, and it always will be. I love the soundtrack. I love the gameplay. I love the Miami 80s feel of it, and the game itself. I think they've done all right with the definitive trilogy.
It's been sorted more mostly than now, because I know when it come out, people were moaning about it like anything with all the issues that the games had.
Well, I mean, I can't personally comment on what it was like before the patch because I never played it before the patch, but it doesn't seem to be buggy. It doesn't seem to be like, clipping and stuff like people were moaning about, and the graphics seem quite steady and it's Grand Theft Auto. What can I say? It's
what system did you get this on? Sorry,
I got this on PS5, but it's obviously it's a PS4 game, so it's just for me, it's childhood memories wrapped up in one disc. All Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas were probably my 3 favourites of the whole series. And it's just great to play them with with a little bit more polish on them.
Yeah,
because to be fair, these sort of games didn't age very well, in my opinion, especially the
early polygons.
Yeah. The third one especially didn't age very well, but they've really tidied it up, and it looks great. The characters, I might add, though, and you can see that there's something about their sort of face that I think they might have gone a bit too cartoony.
Right.
Yeah, that seems to be a lot of the what the hell's going on here, where people have had like the PC original sort of like updo for it, and then they got this new remaster, and it basically changed all the faces, and you can't buy the original versions anymore, have they? Because I think they took them off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
right.
It's almost like that's it now. They're like the Star Wars special editions, where you won't be able to get hold of the originals. So if you've got the originals in any form without the sort of like weird CG stuff that they added in with the special editions, keep hold of them because you can't get them anymore unless in the second-hand market.
See, I bought the original ported versions, if like that, on the PlayStation Store for the PS4, and they played very well, but they don't play very well on PlayStation 5. In fact, they don't play at all.
Weird.
Yeah. No support.
Yeah, no support. Some games did they? And it was very much like it's very stuttery, and so really to play these games on PS5, you had to go and buy this collection. But no, it's 22 quid. It was definitely worth it. I wouldn't have paid 50 quid for it.
No.
50 quid was asking far too much for these games, regardless on how much nostalgia and memories they bring back for me. 50 quid is by far, because to be honest, if I wanted to play these and not pay 50 quid for them, I've got them on an emulator. I would have just emulated it.
Yeah, of course.
Played it. So
yeah.
So that's the first game.
Oh, but like, and just so people are aware, this is available on the Xbox, PlayStation, and the Switch as well, isn't it?
It is, and PC.
And PC, obviously. I think this collection, like, if you're correct in saying that it's been patched and working fine, I think this would be good on the Switch, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
Just with that small screen and.
Well, that was where it was originally sort of like announced to come to, wasn't it? The Switch, and then it was like revealed that it was actually all of them.
Yeah. Cool, man. I'm glad. I'm it seems to have been sorted now. It's good to hear. Excellent.
Second game. Now, I like to immerse myself in the video games, like when there's extra peripherals, as you know. So driving games with steering wheels, fighting games for arcade sticks. So I recently just went out and bought the Thrustmaster HOTUS. I think it's pronounced HOTAS, HOTAS.
Yeah, HOTAS. Yeah.
And I've been playing Flight Simulator on the Xbox.
Oh, nice. How does it run on the Xbox?
On the Series S, I've got Series S. It runs.
Oh, an S. Oh, okay.
It runs exceptionally well.
Nice.
It really does. It runs exceptionally well. Obviously, there's not as much detail in the backgrounds and on the towns, you know, as what you're going to get on the PC or on the Series X. But it runs at a decent frame rate, and it is graphically, it's there or thereabouts. You know, if
it's
you've
still quality, yeah.
Yeah, if you've not played it on the X or the PC, you're not going to notice any difference, if that makes sense. And then, of course, with the stick, I bought the stick with it's got like the lever as well, the throttle lever.
Yeah.
It really does sort of create immersion, especially on the cheap, because the stick itself was only, I think it was 60 quid, 65 quid I paid for it.
That's good, actually. Very good.
And it takes a game that is meant to be played like that, and it makes it harder. That's the way I like it, because anyone can pick it up with a controller and get used to it. I think that it's meant, these sort of games, like racing games and things, are meant to be played with these peripherals.
Yeah.
And it takes a game and makes it harder to learn, which is, for me, what Flight Simulator is all about. And I'm enjoying it. I really am. I then thought, because I didn't pay for the game because it's on Games Pass.
Yeah.
And they have just recently brought it onto the cloud as well.
Yes, so correct. Yeah.
Which is a good thing, because it's 114 gig download.
Yeah.
Ouch.
You only get a 500 gig hard drive, but 300 after you've booted the system up on the Series S, so you don't get a lot. I went and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and buy a fighter plane, because I want to fly around in a fighter plane rather than a Cessna. And God, is that difficult?
Did you buy the Eurofighter? Because I bought that.
I did buy the Eurofighter.
Yeah, 18 quid or something stupid, isn't it?
Oh no, I only paid 9 quid for it.
What? Oh, that must have gone down in price. Yeah, I think it was like 18 quid when I bought it, but I did use my Bing points.
I had a £5 reward card from my Xbox rewards, so I put that towards it.
Yeah.
So, but they do have an F-14 Tomcat on there from Top Gun, but it's like 29 quid. I was like, I'm not.
That is well excessive, really, isn't it? Just to fly one plane, if that's the case.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the package that Flight Simulator offers now, as it being part of the Games Pass, it's great value for money, obviously. And that's kind of why I went and bought the stick, because I didn't pay for the game. Yeah. And being a Microsoft game, I can't see it coming off of the Games Pass.
It won't. No, it won't. It won't ever. I mean, the thing is, right, Macca. I mean, I've been playing Flight Simulator on and off since it come out on PC. Oh God, it's been out forever now, isn't it? Well over a year.
About 2, I think.
Maybe even 2.
On PC as well, yeah, it's about 2.
Yeah. So I've always played it with a HOTAS, and I think it's a phenomenal game. Well, it's not. You can't really call it a game. It is a simulator, and I know people might complain about the file size, as you say, but you got to remember most of the game is actually streamed to you, because it's literally the whole world is in this sim. You know, you fly anywhere and it's, you know, it's all mapped out, and they always do updates of certain areas to make them look better, right? So they've done the UK, they've done Australia, and they've done various other places throughout the world. And it's just that sense of freedom you get when you're flying around, because you know, it's literally, you can just fly anywhere in the world and off you go. And it looks fantastic as well. And you can change the settings to make it as easy or as difficult as possible as well. So if you want it, like, so if you were a pilot, as a prime example, you could actually have it set up so you have to do everything a real pilot does. Or, you know, you can have it just simple, just to go and dick around. And that's what I really like about it. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But I think from a technical standpoint, I think this is absolutely phenomenal. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. the fact is that my little girl, when I put it on with the Hotus sticks, and she was sitting there and she wanted me to fly over our house and fly over Hemel, but because it was late at night, it was like dark and you're trying to find your bearings and stuff. But it is, for me, it's like, it's that whole immersive sort of immersion that you get with using the stick and the game together.
Yeah.
That's, for me, is
100%.
the recommendation. I
100%.
tried it with the control pad, and to be honest, it bored me. It bored me to a T, because I was just like, it's a control pad. It's not meant to be played with this.
Yeah. 100%
so
agree.
Yeah, I've been playing that. I'm enjoying that, and I'm probably going to be playing that quite a bit on and off for the next couple of weeks and maybe next couple of months.
I mean, it's one of those. I don't want to say game because it isn't, but it's one of those experiences. I always leave it installed on my PC, and I will go back to it from time to time. Like, I'm at that stage where I won't play it for say a month, and then I'll go back to it and I'll have a really good session on it. And I'm always, every time I'm on it, I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. And you are right, Macca. It's having the HOTAS. It makes it feel real. You got your stick and you got your throttle control on the other side, and all your buttons are assigned and all that stuff, and it just adds another layer to that immersion. And just talking of peripherals, and I do think peripherals do make some games, right? I mean, I've got steering wheel, I've got arcade stick and a HOTAS all here, all for different games, and without those, I think the games that I play with them just wouldn't be the same. So as I say, they do make a huge difference for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I won't go crazy, I won't go batshit crazy with the peripherals.
No,
because Flight Sim, I did it because it was kind of like, I saw them on offer that it's like 60 quid. It's like less than most games now. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, I want to experience it properly, but I'm not going to throw. Now, if it had been a driving game and I had a dedicated rig, I would probably throw thousands into it. It's because I'm more into driving than I am into flying. As we were saying before, I don't like flying as in real life. Nothing scares me more than flying in real life. But
I say no. You don't have to buy expensive kit at all. I mean, the HOTAS I've got is a Thrustmaster. I think that's about the same price, about 60 quid I paid for it. But when Flight Sim come out, it was in, I think, it was in the middle of COVID. I think you couldn't find the HOTASes for love nor money. They just sold out everywhere, and people were selling them for silly money second hand. But I know people that got right into Flight Sim, and you can spend hundreds and hundreds on these flight sticks and stuff, but you don't need to, and that's the thing for something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with the driving, though, isn't it? It's and I'm going to touch on that in my next game. But it's you could spend thousands on a racing rig, or 200 quid on a Logitech. It all does the same thing. It's just how much more immersion do you want to get, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. So
100%.
I'm mightily impressed with it. I will be leaving it on my Series S, and I plan to play it quite a lot more, actually. So
excellent.
And then, of course, the next game, Gran Turismo 7, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got a lot to talk about with this.
I have, but I've also got a massive bugbear about it as well.
I think I have as well, and we're probably it's probably the same. We've probably got the same problem as well, actually.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go first.
Of course,
I'm gonna simply say it's 25 years, isn't it, for Gran Turismo 7? Like 25 years, right? So I've been playing 25 years worth of Gran Turismo. I know how to play Gran Turismo. I don't have to go through a step-by-step tutorial to unlock everything in Gran Turismo. I must admit, I'm sitting there going, right, so why can't I go and buy a car? Because obviously I I bought the big set, the 25th anniversary one, where you get the PlayStation 4 version as well as the PS5 version, and you get £1.5 million credits. And I was like, right, just let me go and buy a Lambo or a Skyline. Let me just go and buy a really fast car just so I can see what it looks like at speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me about 45 minutes to open the car lot to buy.
Does take a while, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, and then obviously Luca's in the cafe, trying to sell me coffee and amphetamines or something, and trying to get me to collect stolen cars and boost cars and stuff. I'm just like, mate, just let me play the game, please. It's not my first rodeo. I've played all Gran Turismo games, but taking away that negative point, it's probably the best looking game I have ever seen.
It does look fantastic, and I got it unlocked on Thursday, so I streamed it on Twitch, and I think a few people were trying to wind me up because I was like, "Oh, it doesn't look that good," and I was thinking, "What the fuck are you on about?" You know what I mean? And there is a thing about driving games is they can look quite bland depending on what track you're on.
I don't know. Driving games have looked great for years, in my opinion. Like even the ones from sort of like lower developers than the usual AAA top studios, they still produce great looking driving games.
Yeah, but the thing with Gran Turismo is, and I'm sure Maka will agree with me, is Polyphony have put so much work into the attention to detail in this game. It's like because I race in cockpit view all the time because I use a wheel, and we'll talk about why using a wheel is the optimum way, I'm sure, very shortly. However, there's so many little touches no matter what view you're in. Like, so in the car view, it's the reflections, like you can see the reflections of your driver's helmet, say in the dials, in the glass. If you really look, you can see all the weaving, all the stitching in the chairs. The wing mirrors, like everything looks pretty much perfect in the wing mirrors and the center dash mirror as well. And a lot of games, they really don't get that right. The lighting is just absolutely phenomenal, especially when you're close to a car in front and then the sun hits the bodywork at the right angle, and you're like, wow, it just beams off. And there's so many other details, just with the weather in general, the time of day, the handling of the cars, the sound, it all just comes together so well. And it is a phenomenal game, and I know these type of games aren't for everybody, but because it is obviously a sim, and what I'm liking about this though is it feels more simmy than Gran Turismo Sport, which is a welcome change for me, to be honest. It's harder, but I'm liking that aspect.
Well, the thing for me is Gran Turismo. I've always preferred Gran Turismo over Forza.
Yeah.
The Forza series, I'm not talking Horizon here, I'm talking actual Forza Motorsport.
Yeah.
I've always preferred the Gran Turismo series because I've always been a PlayStation kid.
Yeah.
Now, with, how can I put this? I think they messed up with the PlayStation 3 by releasing Gran Turismo 6 so late in its life and 3 months before the PS4 came out. And then, Polyphonic simply sat there and gone, well, we're just going to use the entire PlayStation 4. We're going to give the people Gran Turismo Sport and have it online and base it around esports and stuff. But the actual Gran Turismo series, we're just going to use the whole of the PS4 life cycle to get the game right, and we're going to launch it on the next console. Because, like you say, the detailing, it's just everything about it, the sound, the car noises, even to a point where I saw a video, and I've not experienced this yet, but I saw a video of someone on TikTok, or I think it might have been Instagram, either way. There's kangaroos jumping in as you're driving past a field, there's like AI kangaroos just grazing and jumping around and stuff. It's even that little detail in the background is like, and the crazy thing is, I haven't actually even put it on my 4K telly yet. All I've run it on is my 1080p monitor, but still it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just wait until you get, like, has it got HDR on the monitor?
Yeah, it looks fucking awesome. The HDR. Oh, his TV, you mean? Oh, right.
Yeah, on what he's using currently.
My TV's a fully 4K HDR TV. The problem is, I know for a fact if I put my PlayStation 5 on it, it's not.
You don't want to take it off, yeah.
And I do stream, and I do stream from my PS5, so it's going to be a case of, well, sorry guys, I think that's also why I did buy it for the top version, because the top version of like the limited edition version, you got a PS4 copy and a PS5 copy.
Oh, right, okay.
I've got it downloaded on both, to be honest. PS4's on the telly, PS5's on my setup.
Right.
I've got it downloaded on both anyway, so it might just be that. But yeah, I haven't actually yet used it with the steering wheel.
Oh my goodness!
No, it's because since I've got my steering wheel, I've got my Logitech on a GT Omega wheel stand.
Right, yeah, that's exactly the same stand I've got actually.
Is it the Apex one?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So the idea for me was later down the line when I've got a bit more room, was to add the additional part of the cockpit to the wheel stand, because the Apex one does have that additional factor. But since I got that stand and clamped it all on, I went out and bought a GT Omega chair.
Yeah.
And now the space where I've got to sit, I can't fit it in the chair. So I'm kind of like, I've got to take it all off the wheel stand and bolt it back to my desk for a bit.
Right.
Hence why I haven't done it yet.
Right. So
I only started playing video games on Friday because I had a really busy week.
That's fair enough.
I just want to jump on it and experience it. So yeah, I've only played it for probably about two hours or something. But what I've played of it so far.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to Greasy Fish Lips and to Clarky for saying hi in the chat. Hello.
Hello. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I've had a little dabble on Far Cry 6 again, and Can
I talk about Gran Turismo, since we're talking about this? Is one of the main games I've played this week, so I don't want to hash over it twice. Before we get into Far Cry.
Sorry, yeah, crack on then.
Right, yeah. So I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo this week. Got it on Thursday. Well, unlocked on Thursday, and Thursday, Friday, especially, I freaking hammered it. Absolutely hammered it. I played a little bit yesterday, but this weekend I've really been trying to. Well, I've not been on any games today, and yesterday, again, I was just spending it with my kids really. Trying doing the weekends now, which is why you don't see me online much on a weekend. But I'm absolutely loving it, and mainly I've played it with the steering wheel. So I've got G923 Logitech steering wheel. Retails about 350 quid. They're not fucking cheap, these wheels. I know they're cheap in comparison to these Fanatec ones, which I know some of the community members have bought, and they're over £1,000. However, this wheel, it was great on sport anyway. It's absolutely insane with Gran Turismo. I absolutely love it. So it has this the feedback on it is absolutely nuts, and this is what I like about it. When you're driving in Gran Turismo, the graphics look amazing anyway. You go in your cockpit view and you're using the wheel, and like when you're using the PlayStation 5 controller and it has the really good haptic feedback, like, wow, this feels amazing. This is what it's like on the wheel. Yeah, like say if you're spinning out, like you will lose the wheel because it will start it will start spinning on its own, and you'll be fighting it. Like it's that strong, yeah, and it just feels so good. But it's like what I like about it is, like, depending on the car, the weight changes on the wheel. Yeah, when you're driving, like say when you're hitting an apex, the wheel, depending on which side, say you're on the right or the left, like you'll feel it more on the left hand side. Go bum, 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 you know what I mean? And it's that as I was saying about peripherals, it just adds that extra layer of immersion. Especially for racing sim.
Are you going to? Well, I'm actually wondering if this GT is going to have like some sort of form of VR added to it when the VR2 launches for PlayStation.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask, obviously, because you're one of the people who do suffer from slight issues with VR, aren't you? Of motion sickness and stuff. So
yeah.
But I mean, that would bring the extra immersion to it if it could do that justice.
I mean, it depends on the quality, right? I mean, because there's obviously PC racing sims that use VR now, yeah. And the problem is, I've only had experience using the original Oculus, and I know the frame rate wasn't that great on that, and then that's probably one of the reasons why I was prone to motion sickness. And apparently, the newer headsets now, they have the higher hertz, so you're less likely to get that VR sickness. But the problem is, do I really want to spend 350 quid plus on something that might, and if it makes me feel ill, I either can't send it back or have to faff around sending it back, you know what I mean? And it's just...
I mean, the other thing you could do is wait for your mate to pick it up and then try his one.
Yeah, I know.
Old Deadly Dubs would probably grab it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the... I mean, he's got the latest, the Oculus Quest, and I just haven't had time to go around there to try that out, to be honest, which I am meaning to do. But yeah, it would be cool. Sorry, Macca, what were you going to say, mate?
I was going to say, I must admit, there is one bit of this whole game that isn't so pretty, right? And you see, like on screen now, Luca, the picture, and you've got Sarah. Why do they look like really bad generic LinkedIn photos?
Because they probably are.
Yeah, it's probably like stock images. Getty's stock images.
Oh no, they are actually people. So a lot of the people in the pictures, apparently they're taken from
developers or something.
No, they're not just developers. A lot of them are the esports people. Yeah.
All right.
It's all the people in the esports teams on Gran Turismo. A lot of them. So, yeah. So anyway, so get back into Gran Turismo with the wheel. It's absolutely phenomenal. Now, I have actually tried it with the PlayStation 5 controller as well, because I just wanted to see what it was like with the haptic feedback. And to be honest, I'm really impressed with the triggers, especially, and the rumble on this game with a controller. Like the weight, the brakes feel heavier at certain times, like on the left trigger, so it sometimes it's harder to press. Then the rumble's really, really, really nice, so I really like that. But with the wheel, it just adds that extra layer of emotion. Because I will say, I used to enjoy playing the original Gran Turismos on the PS1, yeah. But then after that, I kind of fell off them, and then I got into Xbox, and I really enjoyed the Forza Motorsports, because the Forza Motorsports aren't as simmy, the kind of simcade.
No, they're a bit. They're like in between, aren't they?
Yeah,
like, I did like the Forzas for that, because it was his own sort of type of racer.
Yeah. But the thing is with Gran Turismo, I only started getting into Gran Turismo. Not when Sport came out, but only last year when I got the wheel, and that's when I really got back. That's when I really got into Gran Turismo Sport, and then sim racing on the PC. And this is why I've been really looking forward to Gran Turismo 7, because it's such a massive game, and this is what I wanted to get into. The game is so big; it's got hundreds and hundreds of cars. They take forever to unlock, right? So you got to grind and play it, and it's an incentive to play. You get your dailies, you get your daily challenges. You need to do like 26 miles a day, and then you get one of these roulette things where you can get car or money or whatever, which is fine, because doing the 26 miles is like 2 or 3 races, and you're done, right? Don't take long, 20 minutes or so, which is fine. And it just and I know people have been moaning about the cafe, but I actually quite like that aspect, because it feels quite artsy fartsy, right? And this is what the Gran Turismos are about. They're all about, and no other game does it like this, right? It is really made for those people that are really into car culture and really want to learn about the history of the cars. Because as you go through the cafe, I'm up to I don't know, menu 28 or something now, right? So you get these menus, and you've got to collect 3 cars per menu, and it'll be like front wheel drive, Japanese saloons, as a prime example. So you collect 3 of those by doing the 3 races, and then you collect them, and then before you can move on, he'll be like, "Oh, I'll tell you about these." And there's like a load of little videos with him talking about the history of the cars and all that sort of bollocks. Now you're not really going to be interested in that unless unless you love cars and you want to know about that, right? So that's one aspect, and I actually quite like that because it gives you an incentive to play. Whereas, I've played a lot of Sims on PC, and they're just like, "I'll make your own races," and go, and I'm like, I need a little bit of guidance. I'm one of those sort of people, right? So I like to have kind of it given to me on a plate a little bit, like you need to do this, this, and this to get to this, and this is what Gran Turismo does. So it's not just the cafe, right? The licenses are back, and I tell you what, they are rock solid, absolutely rock solid. I managed to gold all of the B class licenses, and I tell you what, I must have retried some of those about 20 odd times just to get gold, because you have to be like spot on to get the gold on them. But what I like about it, and I know some people think it's boring, but what it does is it teaches you how to actually race cars, like how to take the lines around corners and stuff, and you're braking and that,
We can say the thing with the wheel. Yeah. The wheel for me, like on sport, for example.
Yeah.
And this does play very similar to sport. Don't get me wrong. It's
not,
it's a Gran Turismo game.
Yep.
It's going to play very similar, but this is going back to what you're saying with the controller, the immersion factor. The steering wheel does make you quicker.
Yeah, it does, 100%
as well.
Yeah,
I played sport when it first came out. I didn't have a wheel. I had a pad. I bronzed all the licenses. That was it. As soon as I got a wheel, I went back on the licenses, got them gold.
Yeah, because you can, you're not just steering hard left, hard right, or throttling straight down. Yeah, I do think the PS5 pad does help with that, but obviously it's not as precise as with the wheel. 100% agree.
No, I've golded quite a few of the licenses on the Bs with the pad.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not really wanted to redo them because I thought to myself, well, to be honest, I'm going to set the wheel up and I'll just go through them again on the wheel.
Yeah. But the A licenses are I can't gold them, man. I've given up on some of them. It's just too hard. But I will go back. But yeah,
they got rally ones on there.
Yeah, they got dirt ones, rally. It's all over the place.
I hate the rally ones. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I'd say Gran Turismo doesn't do very well, and that's rally driving.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. But
it just feels very slidey. Yeah.
I mean, I would seriously, and I have been seriously considering investing in a better steering wheel because I know I've got a Logitech G29.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic bit of kit. It comes with the pedals and the gear stick, and but it's the level of force feedback and it's the details that you miss with a low force feedback wheel. Even upgrading to a Thrustmaster. It's got 7 newtons feedback rather than the 2 that you get from the Logitech. So you do feel a lot more detail on when you hit a rumble strip, when you're in Apex.
So I know mine's the one up from yours. It's got the true force feedback, or whatever that is, and it feels fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah, so I think yours is a cross between a belt and a gear. Mine's a gear-driven force feedback.
Okay.
The Thrustmaster's a fully fledged twin belt-driven, and then the Fanatec's, a lot of them, and that will especially now are direct drives. Even the affordable ones are direct drive wheels, which obviously will give you the optimized.
Yeah.
It will give you everything, but then you're talking. I think they launched the Gran Turismo one, a DD, what it's called. I think it was about £800.
Yeah, silly money.
With a wheel. Well, it's with a wheel, but then you've got to buy pedals, which is another £100. So you're looking at about £900 for the full setup.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go even more, you've got the DD3 direct drive, which is £1,500 just for the base. No wheel, no pedals, nothing.
Yeah.
But
depends on how much you want to get into it, right? I mean, I'm just really happy with the wheel I've got, to be honest. That's 100%. Perfectly enough for me. It's quite funny because Wes put a video in our Discord with a bloke saying, "Oh, this is a warning about Gran Turismo. If you get a wheel, some people get really addicted and end up spending thousands on, on rigs and stuff." And I was just thinking, "Fuck me!" That just reminded me of Wes because the wheel I've got is actually his old wheel. He sent it to me from Thailand, and then he bought the Fanatec, and he was telling me the cost of all, because he's got a good few wheels for it as well. And I was like,
"Yeah,
fucking hell, man, that's just silly money. It really, really is. But he's got the full rig, and it's fucking nuts, man. I just couldn't imagine spending that amount of money. My missus would murder me.
My gear stick, because I bought them separately, cost me 250 quid.
Yeah.
It didn't in the end because of a cock up with shipping and company transit and stuff, but that's a long story. But basically, so it would have cost me 250 quid. There's Fanatec wheels out there that cost £600.
Yeah, and that's just for the wheel you put onto the base. Yeah,
just the wheel.
Yeah,
no, that's nothing else. You can't. You know it's. But I can understand why people do get addicted to it, because it's always having that wanting more immersion. Goes back to that word immersion. It's always wanting to be. Actually, I do want a rig, and I want a rig. I do want a rig. And a like 3 monitors on it, and have it. But I understand that it's a bit out of my price range, and the fact is I don't have the space for it.
100%. I'm in the same position, mate. Yeah.
Wife's not even have an arcade machine in my dining room, let alone a fully fledged racing rig. So.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, I know there's people that are really into it on the PC with the VR and stuff like that, and that's cool. But I think Gran Turismo is probably the most immersive racing sim that you're going to get on a console, to be honest. Yes. But what it does really well as well is, so you've got your licenses, and you've got challenges as well, which are like licenses, but they're just challenges, are very similar, like do a race or do these corners in this in the best time or whatever. And what it does very well is like on every single license and challenge, next to it is all your friends' times as well on a leaderboard. So it's always pushing you to be better than your friends, which is really, really cool. I really like that aspect. The online works well in some regards. So I played some online with a couple of community guys the other day, Laffer and Captain Venom. And we had a good laugh on it, actually. But the problem is, and this is really backwards. So you make a lobby, you choose a car class, and it's all done on performance points, and it's a PP for sure, which I take make great fun of saying PP as often as I can because I'm a child. But once you've launched a lobby with a specific track and PP class, you can't fucking change it. So after you've done a race, and you're all like, right, what track shall we do now? Oh, I need to quit the lobby and make a fucking new one. It's like, really? In this day and age, you should be able to just change the tracks and the car classes just within that lobby. It's such a ball ache. It really, really is.
I think that will come with an update.
I hope so, because we were getting really pissed off, not yesterday, the day before, just with that aspect. Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say they've pretty much perfect the game in my eyes, graphic wise and everything. So there's bound to have missed out some minor details on a few things, I think. And because they're going to be pushing this for the esports scene, that's going to change very quickly. Very quickly. So.
So there is a few negatives with the game as well that I did want to mention. One of them I don't think is really a negative. People seem to be bitching about it, which is the microtransactions.
Oh dear.
So, and I've been like, so people have been really trying to make a big deal out of this. Oh, they've got cars in the game where you have to buy 40 quid's worth of microtransactions, the in-game credits, to purchase these cars. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, well, you can just play the game and earn the credits by playing the game and then buy the cars, like in every other Gran Turismo. Yeah, so if you go back in time to when we were kids and playing Gran Turismo 1, 2, 3 or whatever on our PlayStations, you would remember that it was very similar. There were cars which were very expensive and you would have to play the game an awful lot to acquire enough credits to buy these really exotic cars. And that's exactly what Gran Turismo 7 is like. However, they do give you the option to purchase in-game credits for real money on the PlayStation Store. Now, I think it's like 2 million credits is like 30 quid. just off the top of my head. I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure. Well, you've got cars on there which are like 4 or 5 million credits, yeah. So this is what these articles are trying to say. Oh, you know, people need to spend 40 quid or more to buy certain cars on Gran Turismo. It's like, no, they make the choice to waste their money on credits to buy cars, or they could just play the fucking game to earn the credits to buy the cars. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've been having a gripe with. No, yeah, you know, I don't agree with microtransactions, yeah, but it's a fact of modern gaming, unfortunately. But you don't have to spend any money on on the credits. You can just earn them by playing it, and that's how you should be playing a Gran Turismo. They're designed for you to play for a long time. They do have grinding. You should know that when you're going into it, yeah. So less bitching, just play the fucking game and enjoy it for what it is, in my opinion.
The thing is, there's a trophy in the game called 100%. Yeah. That you've got to 100% complete the game. There is no way that Polyphony are going to say, yes, we're going to charge you 60, 70 quid for the game, but for you to earn this trophy, you've got to spend another 40 quid.
Yeah. So everything in the game you can earn by playing it. And yes, people may moan, oh, take me ages to grind. It's no different from a fucking RPG in my eyes. Just fucking play it. That's what it's there for, to enjoy. You're not going to complete it in a couple of weeks. It's going to take you months and months and months. And that's where you get the enjoyment out of these games, because they are designed for you to play for years on end. Yeah, we're not going to see a Gran Turismo 8 on the PS5, I imagine. This is going to be it. Yeah?
Yeah.
And it is a fantastic game. I'm really loving it. There is, however, one negative, in my opinion. And in this day and age, it is quite minor, because most people have an internet connection. However, if you're not connected to the internet, you can't play the campaign, which I think is absolutely redonkulous. So if you're not connected, it comes up with an error message when you launch the game, and all you can do is the music mode. And I think there's some arcade races, and that's it. So you can't go and do your cafe or anything like that, or your licenses or any of that stuff. You have to be online. So, you know, and I was talking
That's been the one mark against it in every review I've seen.
Yeah.
They've all said, like, it's a phenomenal game, absolutely fantastic, but you need to always be online.
Yeah, and the reason I don't like that, there's a couple of reasons, right? One, my internet might go down one day and I want to play it. Oh, I can't fucking play it. The other thing is more, because I really like retro games, and I really do believe in video game preservation. And, you know, back in the old days with video games on cartridges, CDs or whatever, you know, it's very easy. They come out and it's yours forever on that physical media. You're never going to lose it unless obviously you damage your media. However, with this, who's to say in 10 years' time they shut the servers down? You're never going to be able to play the single player of this game ever again. It's just going to be lost in the ether. Yeah.
The 25th year anniversary game is going to be lost to time completely.
There will be a point
because it'll be always online.
Yeah, 100%. Unless they do an update or something, right? There will come a point where you will never be able to play this game again, and I just think that's really sad. To be honest, really do.
I mean, you kind of forgive it for MMOs because they're like a niche kind of game. There's technically not really too many of them.
Yeah.
Compared to other titles.
Yeah. I just think it's really silly. Like, you can't do your licenses, you can't do your challenges, you can't do like the main cafe single player stuff. It's literally all of that is fucking gone without an internet. It's just so weird. Yeah, I don't get that at all. Obviously, I can understand it for some bits and bobs, like maybe the garage, like the what's it called, the second-hand garage, because the cars update periodically. Yeah, that's fine, but fucking cutting out the whole fucking main game, that's bullshit, man. Those are literally the only negatives I can think of about Gran Turismo. Everything else, it's absolutely fantastic, and you know, it is easily the best looking racing game I've ever played. You know, it kicks the arse out of, you know, every single racing sim on PC maxed out. I mean, that's how gorgeous this looks.
And they haven't even said that it might. They haven't even ruled it out that it might be coming to PC.
That would be insane if it did.
It's because I know.
Give it some time.
A year ago,
probably.
It's because the sim world is based on PC. Yeah, every peripheral, every setup is based on the PC. Yeah, you only have Forza on the Xbox and you have Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. Well, basically, what they're missing out a massive part of money, basically, not being to the sim community that have gone. Well, I don't want to buy a PlayStation.
Yeah,
because I only play racing games and I've got all my racing games on my PC. So I wouldn't be too surprised. Maybe in a couple of years you'll see this, like God of War, turn up on PC.
That would be insane. Imagine that. That would. Yeah. I would personally be quite shocked because this has been one of those games that's always, PlayStation exclusive. Yeah. So, but I know obviously, Sony have been opening up their games to PC, and God of War, as you say, and Horizon Zero Dawn, a couple of examples. I think it would be awesome if it did. To be honest, it'd make Sony a hell of a lot more money. You think of all those racing geeks on PC. There's fucking thousands and thousands, millions of them even. So, yeah, I mean, I've just been very, very impressed with Gran Turismo 7 though. Just to run down here, it's just I love it because one, the gameplay is really, really good. The feel of the cars, the sound, and all that sort of stuff, and it looks gorgeous. But it's just the way that they've set it up. It just feels very, what's the word? Not posh, but I don't know, something very arty about it. Something very unique, because no other game is like this. It's just the way the menus are set up and the music and the way it goes. You go through earning all your cars in just that very Japanesey weird way with the cafe. But I enjoy all the facets. As I say, the cafe stuff is really, really cool. The licenses is excellent, even though very tough. It does teach you, and the challenges. And obviously you've got the arcade racing. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned the car customization. It is absolutely fantastic. And my mic's just cut out for a second then. I think it's back. So, can you hear me? Just double check. Yeah. So with the car customization, there's a few different there's a few different facets to that, right? So you've got your upgrade, so it's in stages. So you can buy like turbos, better brakes, all that typical stuff you would probably see in. Well, you do see in Forza Horizon as a prime example. When you wanted to tune your car and do it up, you get all those little engine parts and wheels and different tires and all that bollocks, right? So you can do that. So that's cool, because that wasn't in in Gran Turismo Sport. But then also it's got the car customization of what your cars look like. Again, wasn't in Gran Turismo Sport. And it goes into quite a lot of detail in Gran Turismo 7. So you can change the color of your car, obviously, and there's loads of different color combinations that you can choose from. You can have loads of different alloy wheels, different types of body kits. You can make your car a wide boy, Barry boy car. Different spoilers, and it even goes into detail. So you put the spoiler on, you can change what the ends of the spoilers look like, which is really cool. Your different side skirts and front bumper and rear bumper, etc. So you can make your car look quite unique, and there's quite a detailed livery editor as well. So you can imagine that some people have already been making some really cool designs, very much like Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport. That's all in Gran Turismo now, with just that designing of your cars, just to make it look a bit more unique. And it's just really cool, because one of the things I love about Gran Turismo is watching the replays of the race that I've just done, because the camera angles and just everything just looks fantastic, and it just makes it feel just a little bit more special when it's your car that you've kind of tricked out, and it looks awesome with that body kit and the cool paint job, So Yeah, and then there's so you got the replays. You can save your replays, and then the photo mode is bloody amazing. So you can take photos. I've only done it in the replay mode. And the cool thing about replay mode is there's an option when you launch the game to turn ray tracing on or off. Turn it on, and it only uses it for replays and obviously when you're in a garage and stuff. But it just makes it look just more realistic. So, and I've used it in my photos, which I've been taking. I did share a few on the Discord. It just makes it look more real because the reflections of the other cars in there or in the back, or the stuff in the background and stuff, just reflecting off that paintwork, just looks fantastic. And when you're taking photos, there's so many different options that you can do to change the look of the photos as well, right? And it just adds something more special to the game. And also, like Gran Turismo Sport, it's got like kind of that scenes mode, so you can, it's on the main menu, and then there's bloody loads of different scenes, and you can just put loads of different cars in these scenes, you know, and move them around and turn the lights on and off or whatever, just to do some other cool photos as well. So, you know, you could spend hours in that, you know, instead of just racing, like, if you really want to make some cool photos. So it's just another aspect that I really think is cool and something that people don't really think about. So, but yeah,
the thing with the replays is they also make you look like a better driver.
Yeah,
yeah. And that's not better. I've had races where I've gone, that was a really bad race, and then I looked at the replay and I thought, Christ, I look like I'm a proper driver here.
Yeah, it's very, very well done, 100%. But yeah, if you can, and I know it's not feasible for everybody, but if you can afford a decent steering wheel and pedals, go for it, because it really takes Gran Turismo to another level. Yeah, you can kick back with a controller, and it's still a great game. I'll give it that. The haptic feedback is awesome. But if you can afford, and I know they're not cheap, a decent wheel, then it will just make the game something else, and it will blow your mind. 100% it will. So that's just my top tip there. Anyway, we've banged on about it for long enough, I think. It's an amazing game, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again next week.
Probably, 100%. I might have actually got some gameplay in it as well, rather than a couple of hours as well.
Yeah, excellent. Anything else you played then?
A bit of Far Cry 6, but to be honest, not much.
Right, okay.
It's one of those games where I'm kind of sort of fluttering in and out of, because it's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gran Turismo. I still haven't even played King of Fighters yet.
Oh, fuck me, man.
Oh.
Mate, Gran Turismo 7 came out. Like I said, I only started playing games again on Friday because I had a really, really busy week.
Yeah.
And then Friday was Gran Turismo 7, and I thought, you know what? I'm
playing that. Yeah, man.
It's been a amazing month for game launches, I think. Not necessarily all launches, but it has been a really good month for games.
It has.
One of the best I can remember. Like for sort of like continuously good games coming out over a short period.
100% agree, man. I mean, it's just been nuts. I mean, we haven't even talked about Elden Ring yet tonight, so we'll be getting to that shortly. But it has been a fantastic year so far with Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Gran Turismo 7, Lost Ark as well, for those of you that have got PC. Yeah, it's been flat out, man, and I've had to, like, personally, because I've got one of those addictive personalities when it comes to video games. Luckily, not in anything else in life. I don't really drink. I used to smoke, but I quit many years ago. But when it comes to games, there's something like, I thought it would go with age. You know, I'm 38, and like I still feel like a kid in a sweet shop when a new game comes out. Like, I have to get it, and I just get so excited. But what I found this year in particular is I've really struggled to dial it back. And I don't know if anyone else has had this problem. Like, you know, I've had times where my missus has said to me, you know, Mark, you need to get off the games and spend some time with your kids. You know what I mean? Because I've literally, you know...
neglecting real life.
Yeah, because, like, there's been so many good games out, and I just, like... Especially with Elden Ring, when that came out the other week, like, I got like, for the first few days, like, I literally didn't do anything else. Same with Horizon as well, actually. And I have, like, when you get a flow of good games in such a short amount of time, like I personally, I don't know if anyone else says this, I do really struggle to kind of take myself out of that and concentrate and focus on real world stuff that's actually more important. You know what I mean? And and it can get you into trouble sometimes, unfortunately. But yeah, but you are right. I mean, I haven't seen we haven't had a year like this in quite a few years, to be honest. I mean, already this year we've had more good games than last year all combined, in my opinion. Yeah. So I just wanted to. So if anyone else is actually who's listening gets like that, like how I've just explained with the addiction, then please ping me and let me know. We'll set up a little support group or something. Yeah.
Gamers Anonymous.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a struggle sometimes to, and I don't think people realise, because some people will be like, how do you find the time to play these games, right? And I am in a very fortunate position where my wife is also a gamer, so most evenings, like, she'll be playing something on the Xbox, like Sea of Thieves, 99.9% of the time. So I'm like, right, I'll play something upstairs on my PC or the PlayStation or whatever. Or if I want to play Elden Ring on the Xbox, she'll be demoted to the gaming laptop for Sea of Thieves. But so I'm in quite a fortunate position where I do get quite a lot of gaming time in an evening. But where I've really had to dial it in is during the day, when my kids are about. And I have noticed it with my boy. He's, with the Switch in particular, like, if we don't really keep an eye, he could easily spend all day playing on the Switch. I mean, there's so many fucking games on there. So it's just one of those things that I think, which you don't realise, like, being a gamer, because, like, my dad, and I think people our age are the same, like, my parents never into video games. I thought they were stupid or whatever, but I've always had a system. But I think, I think my kids are very lucky.
Obviously, back then, you like, obviously our parents' age was mainly sort of like bit of television, and most of the sort of like fantasy stories, science fiction, and that. I mean, you had spatterings of it on telly, but they were only really like a select few shows that became big. So they obviously read books to get all of that in, and obviously when gaming came out and it started to basically transfer storytelling into a controllable visual medium. Those early games back then, when we obviously started, they're not going to look that fantastic to sort of like adults that have obviously been using their imaginations a lot more. It's now like from I'd say the 360 era onwards that gaming has reached a far more mass market appeal, not necessarily just because of the people of the ages growing up.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
but from an elderly perspective of like, that actually looks fucking great. I'd like to go and explore that world.
Yeah.
What you're saying, I can look around and go anywhere. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's also just like you say, it's the age of it as well. I mean, my mum used to call everything a Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's technology, even to this day. My mum, for example, is terrible with technology. She can't even set up a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Where our age, we've lived without technology.
Yeah.
And then we've
grown up with it as well.
We've came into the dawn of sort of like the Wi-Fi, the internet age, and then we're growing with it, sort of thing. And we're I mean, I'm lucky. Like you're saying, Webby, I'm very lucky with mine. I've got a setup in my dining room. My wife watches everything on the telly. I'm not a massive fan of telly. I don't watch telly. I pay for it, but I don't watch it.
Yeah.
There's very few shows that I religiously watch. In fact.
Yeah.
So I am out playing games on the PC or the Xbox or whatever when I've got free time, when I'm not bogged down with work.
Yeah.
And my kids are a bit older now, so I've got a 15-year-old and 11-year-old, well, soon to be 11-year-old. So they kind of entertain themselves. Now.
Yeah, as my kids, they're 4 and 2. They need my attention all day, every day. Like, and it is actually a nice age, because they'll both, I mean, especially my boy, be like, "Oh, Daddy, come and play with me." Like, constantly, and it's really nice. Like, we spent today, like I said to the family, I said, we're having video game and TV free day. I said, we're going to, you know, play toys. And we had a really nice day actually playing toys, building things and all that sort of stuff. It was really nice actually. Bit of story time and that. But and I said we need to do more of that now, because what I found, this is what I'm trying to allude to, is because my boy sees me gaming a lot. He wants to game a lot. And then it was getting to a stage where, you know, and it is my fault, 100% admit that, you know, because I'd be like, oh, you know, Marcus, let's play Mario Party, or let's play Mario 3D World together, or, you know, it's always a Mario game that, you know, and we'll set up the Switch and we'll have a controller each and play, and, you know, we would spend a lot of time doing that. Or if I'm being lazy and I want to do like play one of my own games, I'll be like, I'll just play the Switch, mate, it's fine. And what I noticed was, like, because he's so young, you know, he gets really addicted to it. So like first thing in the morning, he would be like, Daddy, I want to play the Switch. And I'll be like, no, mate, you need to have breakfast. You need to, you know, clean teeth, get dressed and all that sort of stuff. And I was noticing a little bit of me in him, if that makes sense, because I, you know, as an adult, you know, I get very addicted to video games in particular, but I can kind of like take a step back and realize that at times, right? Whereas a kid can't, you know, they just want more. So I'm trying to now kind of control him with it, but at the same time, it's controlling me with it as well. Because if he's not gaming, I can't game either, because otherwise he'll look at me and be, well, Daddy, why are you gaming if I can't? You know, come and play. So that's kind of where we're at now, and I actually do think it's probably doing me some good, to be honest, just to get away from that.
On the flip side, my son, 15, and he plays Xbox solidly sometimes, but with his mates.
Yeah.
The thing is, we live in a world of socialising on the internet now. When I was a kid, I'd go out, I'd play football. I knew what time it was time to go home. The street lamps went off.
100%, yeah. I mean, that was the same for me when I was a little kid, yeah.
No. The problem is nowadays is you don't know who is around. With my son upstairs socialising and playing with his mates from school, so he sees them at school, then he comes home, and then, as far as I'm concerned, I know where he is.
Yeah, and he's socialising, and he's having a good time with his mates.
Exactly, and they're having a laugh. They're having they're playing a game. They're having a laugh. I know where he is.
Yeah,
he's up. I don't have to worry about him. I don't have to think, my God, where he's not answering his phone. Where is he? Where's my son? Anything could have happened to him. I go, no, he's upstairs in his bedroom where he's safe. So, you know, there are, because let's be honest, since we were kids, it's a lot different now, isn't it? With predators and people out there, it's a lot different. It's a lot worse.
I don't know. Like, I think it's about the same, but you just hear a lot more of it. I mean, that horrific shit's been going on for fucking years. Like,
oh yeah, it has done. But I mean, like where I live in particular, there was one that you knew of in the town. That was it.
Yeah,
we all knew who he was. We all knew who he was, and we all knew to stay away from him. Yeah, right. And that was it. That was it. Now it's like, I mean, the amount of times, I think 2 years ago, about 3 or 4 different people were approaching kids on the way to school.
Fuck's sake, that's insane.
You know, but what I'm saying is video games for me, I'm not going to stop him from playing video games as long as he's doing well at school and stuff, which he is.
Yeah.
Let him play video games. Yeah. That's my opinion, because I know where he is and he's safe. That's as good enough for me, because that's all I want for my kids, to be safe.
100%, the same as any parent, 100%.
Yeah, and exactly. And if that means him playing 10 hours worth of Xbox with his mates, I'm going to let him play 10 hours of Xbox with his mates. At the end of the day, it's you know, so there is a flip side to it.
Oh, 100%. No, and I do agree. And I think that it is that age thing, right? You know, I think there's a big difference between a 4-year-old playing 8 hours of a game compared to like a 13, 14-year-old.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it is amazing how attitudes have changed, how gaming has changed, or whatever. Because I've always been kind of one of those. I was always one of those kids. I was in that middle ground. You know, I was a bit of a geek. You know, I loved my games and all that sort of stuff. But I was also hanging around with like the kind of chavvy kid. You know, we'd be out down the park smoking fags and drinking Lambrini. Or cider, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
You've already said Lambrini. Don't try and cover it up with cider.
I'm not ashamed to admit that now. You know what I mean? It's so many years ago, but you know, it was cheap it was cheap and cheerful back then. But it is interesting, you know, how technology has changed. Because, you know, I remember a time, you know, where, you know, I mean, I didn't get a mobile phone till I was like 16, 17. And they were the big brick ones, you know what I mean? And before that, you know, if you wanted to play with your mates, you had to physically go out and knock on their door, right? And be like, oh, you know, is Ben there to come out and play? Whereas now, you know, it's like you'd see your mates on the Xbox at that age and you just fucking play with them online. You never leave the house.
Oh, some parents must probably actually appreciate the mobile phone era a lot more now if kids are going around people's houses. Because how many mums did you know would be like, the bloody door again? All I've done today is get up and down, opening this bloody door for your mates. Like,
yeah, but I think with a mobile phone as well, it's knowing where your kids are, because you know, you can have that software where you can see where your family are. You know what I mean? So
spy on them, yeah.
Yeah, well, pretty much. I mean, me and my wife use it, just, you know, but it's handy, isn't it? Because like you can see where your kids are. I mean, because like the thing is, right? I mean, I was in London last year with my family, and we went to what's that big garden place? I fucking it's gone from my head. Anyway, so like the big
Gardens.
Kew Gardens, yeah. So we went into there, and I lost my son, and it was only gone for about 10 minutes, but I was in bits, mate. I was absolutely in bits, and he just wandered off, and luckily, I was looking for him.
Did he turn up crying?
No, he turned up like. Luckily, a mum had spotted him crying, and she was wandering around in this area looking for his dad. And luckily, she'd walked to the area where I was, and he was in tears. I was like, "Oh, thank you so much," blah blah blah. And I said to him, I said, "Fuck me, you know, anything could have happened to him." And it made me just think, you know, if he was a bit older and he had a mobile phone, you know, he could have rang me, say, "Dad, where are you? I've wandered off," or, you know, I could track him, you know, on one of those apps. And you know, and it made me think, like, because some people use, if they've got Apple the device, they use AirTags. And they put them on their kids' clothes or whatever so they can track them, which I think is a good idea. But there's nothing really like that for Android, unfortunately.
Take your kids.
Yeah, seriously, man. I mean, I think it's a great idea, to be honest.
Like chip it, like do you remember when you used to chip your pets and stuff? Like...
Yeah. So I don't know how we got to this, but yeah, it's just how technology's gone. I think it's a fantastic thing in some aspects. I really, really do. But I think with kids, you just got to really keep a control on it, because I know, you know, like some kids obviously don't game, but they have like an iPad and they'll be on it all day, and then they'll get addicted to that. And I know some of my mates of kids a little bit older than mine, and they like tell me what they do, like they put a time thing on it or whatever, you know. And
some of them like are on Fortnite all the time, like you know.
Yeah.
Proper tantrums if they're not allowed to play it.
But it is really weird, right? I mean, it's one of those things that before I had kids, I never even thought about, you know, because you always see that Xbox have really been at the forefront of putting parental controls on the Xbox, and they're actually really, really good, actually. So, and there you get an app, an Xbox Family app on your phone. So my boy's got his own gamer tag, and every week I get an email from Microsoft telling me how many hours he's played and what games he's been playing. Yeah, and then it's fantastic. And you can put timers on it, so you know, like say after an hour it logs him out and it won't let him log back in that day. You can turn on and off like voice chat. You can restrict who he can talk to. You know, so like no randomers can send friend requests and shit like that, right? I think it's really well done. I don't know if there's anything similar for the PlayStation. I've not looked into it. But it really, like, having that really opened my eyes, because me and my boy were really getting into Minecraft a few weeks ago, and I let him just run wild on it on his own. So I was like, I can't bother to play, just play. And then I got the report the following week, and it was something crazy, like he played 30 odd hours of Minecraft in a week, and I was like, that is way too much for a 4-year-old. But without that, I wouldn't have known. So it really does open your eyes, stuff like that. I just find it really fascinating. I think good on Microsoft for putting something like that in place. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we got to this. We were still talking about what you were playing, Macca, I think.
I'd kind of finished, to be fair. I just sort of finished with Far Cry 6 and sort of dipped in and out, and that was it, really. That's my week.
Sweet, man.
That was my Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, that's fair enough,
and a bit
mate.
Of Sunday.
Cool beans. All right, Darren, so what have you been playing, mate?
Myself, I have mainly been playing Horizon Forbidden West this week.
Oh, so how are you getting on with it, mate?
Still really, really like it. It has its issues, which I touched on last week, which for me is basically like the aiming.
Yep, it feels a bit floaty, right?
Still has issues, in my opinion, and sometimes those wrong shots can turn a complete situation on its head, and everything goes to shit.
Are you playing it on normal, are you, or hard, or?
Well, no, I'm just on about in general, like where it sets everything off.
Right.
Because obviously you get stealth kills, and there's like a suit of armor I'm wearing at the moment where if I kill something in stealth, I basically get like a massive health buff.
Right, okay.
That lasts until I take damage down to what my normal health was, and then I can reapply it with stealth kills and stuff. It's pretty mint in that fashion.
Yeah.
You'll sort of like do a headshot and it hits him in the chest, and you're like, no. Like you're not even sort of like super incline above me, so the drop thing isn't an issue. So strange. Okay. And the other one I run into today, which is kind of annoying, you've got these bonfires scattered throughout the world, which are almost like you come across one every sort of couple of 100 yards or so, it feels.
Yep.
But there's none in your home base.
No.
There's not a single fucking one there. You've got like, welcome to your room, Aloy. You've got loads of things in here. Not a fucking save point, no, eh?
No, and that is really odd.
Like,
so
my home base.
Yeah, so there's one outside.
Base of operations.
There's one outside, and you got to run into your base from that one. And
I was in the middle of basically a 35-minute series of cutscenes, and I could not save the game.
Oh, bloody hell.
Because obviously you go off and collect things and then take them back, and there's people there and you're talking to them, and then you get sent on other missions and other bits and bobs. And like I even paused it to go to load save to check an auto save, and it hadn't saved. The last auto save was like 20 minutes ago, and I'm like, no, I've got to sit here and wade through this. Then, thank you.
Yeah.
And then when I left, it was like, oh, do you want to go on this? Like, do you want to leave the base? And I'm like, yes. And it automatically put me into another mission with like a cutscene playing at the start of that. And I'm like, oh yeah. Got out of it. Thankfully, as soon as that cutscene ended, it had done an autosave. So like I literally sat through, like I say, about 30, 35 minutes without being able to save the game.
Fuck's sake.
And things like that are annoying because it's like, in modern games, and you're walking around your home base, but you can't just save it in there. No, it's just do what's. But I'm amazed with like the environments in this game. Like the more parts of it I just explore, it just changes the environments like so rapidly.
Yeah,
because it's obviously condensed down. Like the areas they're supposed to be, they're obviously not literally supposed to be that close to each other or wherever. But you obviously start off in an area that's very typical of like your Horizon, and then you go out into sort of like these sort of like lowland plains, as it was, which then goes into like desert, and then up into the snowy mountains, down into like jungle and rainforests.
Yeah.
And they've all got their own individual feel and look, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous.
The different tribes and the way they've done all of the sort of story with the different tribes and factions.
Yeah.
Within the world, and they all live in these slightly differently designed areas. Like you've got that city that's literally, or the town that's literally hanging over the edge of a waterfall.
Oh yeah.
You've got the one up in the mountains that's behind the big stone wall.
Yeah.
and then the various ones out in the deserts. And I've noticed. Did you do many of the side? You didn't do many of the side quests in this, did you? You mainlined the main story.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Those side quests can go on for ages and actually have like proper, interesting, sort of meaningful storylines going on.
Oh, excellent! That's good.
So there was one that actually sent me up early on from down in. It's one of the early ones, first 20 or so hours, where someone will basically go and ask to check on a village up north because they haven't heard anything from it for a while.
Yeah.
You go up there, something's happened, and you deal with all of that and go for all these other bits and bobs. And then because you've done that, you will then bump into an NPC from there a bit later on in one of the other cities. And also you will mention this when you're speaking to your AI at your base. Like you'll mention things when you're having conversations with them about like, oh, I bumped into this area, so maybe that will do that. Because you're kind of picking up objects that are going to fix different parts of the environment.
Yeah, cool.
Because obviously each one is a different environmental disaster. So there's one about like the nourishment of the earth, one that's causing storms.
Yeah.
That were obviously about quite early on. So I've just picked up the one that's going to sort of like hopefully help with those, make them less frequent. Pardon me. But yeah, just the attention to detail they've actually gone into as well.
Yeah.
With how the game looks. I mean, I was walking through like the desert area, and obviously like you leave footprints in the sand and all that kind of stuff. Now you've got the wind whistling and blowing dust about. You have like dust tornadoes coming through as well.
Yeah.
Just great. And I don't know whether you mucked around with like the photo mode or like moving the camera about to actually inspect the environments and stuff when you're going into the water.
It looks great, doesn't it? The water.
The
Fantastic.
different blurring effects and the way it focuses different layers of the image.
Yeah.
Like near your feet, it's sort of like a softer focus, but it's smooth, but it's done in a sort of like almost a realistic sort of way.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of very clever stuff going on there. Although I have had a few glitches with it, which I will say, hands down now, out of all of the first party games, this is the one I've actually experienced the most sort of like weird glitchy moments in.
Oh, okay.
Like I've had like an enemy character model doing like the sort of like head spin disco dancing on the spot when they're dead.
Oh, right. Weird.
Talking about I had a mission where I lowered down a crane for someone to do something, and then I literally appeared under the water, under the map, and I'm like, that's good. Thankfully, the whatchamacallit, because I kept trying to swim up, because you have to swim down to do the thing to release it. But then it just put me under the map, so I couldn't swim up at all. So I was like, auto save load, that came out of that, so it wasn't too bad.
Cool.
But yeah, just a few things like that.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's a fantastic game, man.
Yeah.
The thing
I don't know how far I'm through it, because I've still got at least 2 more of those things to pick up, and I've probably only uncovered half the map, which is awesome, because like I say, I like exploring all the different areas.
Oh, the map's bloody massive. As I say, but the good thing is, like, when you complete it, you know, you can, it dumps you back in the open world anyway, and you can go and do side quests and explore more anyway. So, just something to bear in mind for people who feel like they can't carry on with the main story until they've done everything else. You don't need to.
Yeah, I feel they're going to fine-tune a few things. If I'm going to be petty, one of the other things it's kind of cool. I've got to the point now where I can apply the face paints that you unlock.
Oh, right, yeah.
Obviously, depending on the army you're wearing or going with your set play style, you might apply like the face paint for that.
Yeah.
To sort of like match. But then maybe a few hours down the line, you pick up a better armor and you're now wearing that one. It's a different faction, and you don't want the face paint. You can't just remove it. You've got to go all the way back to one of these people to get them to remove it.
Oh my goodness.
Which is, it's just a little petty thing.
Yeah.
For that. So that could be fine-tuned where you could just go into a thing like remove face paint.
Yeah, yeah.
Just take it off. Because the other funny thing is, when you take a picture in the photo mode, which is fantastic, although the fact you can't actually use the photo mode in towns in certain parts of the game, yeah, it's annoying because obviously photo mode usually pause it. You can move the camera around, zoom in, zoom out, all that kind of stuff. You lose the control of the camera.
Yeah.
Completely in city zones.
That's so weird.
And things. But yeah, when you go into the photo mode, even if you've got face paint on, you haven't got face paint in the photo mode. You have to reapply it in the photo mode itself by flicking through like face paints. But that, another sort of strange thing.
Fair dues.
But yes, after that, Fortnite added an update this week that put animals into Save the World.
Okay.
So the stupid animals that run around in Battle Royale have now infected Save the World. Which it's annoying because they're constantly running around the level. Like the chickens are reasonably okay. You can catch them and jump miles through the air with them, which is cool for traversing a map. But then you've got wolves that will constantly try and attack you. You've got raptors for some reason, dinosaurs that will attack you. And because they're running around the map all the time, all of the zombies that used to be asleep in groups, they're all kicking off and going ballistic.
Right.
Which, when you get to the higher levels, it's like, oh, right, yeah, how have I all of a sudden got like 50 people on me? Because some twat set them all off. Running about. You can tame them and stuff, but I'd just rather they weren't in the game. And I thought they were just there for the event. But then one of the characters you unlock through the event, one of their perks is all about the animals. And as soon as I unlocked that, I said to Goose, who I play the game with regularly, oh dear, this is here forever then. So, yeah, I don't know. Just add stuff in without asking people that makes your game a bit more annoying. Main other game I would probably say would be Elden Ring. We might as well start getting into that chatter.
Yeah, go for it. You haven't played it, have you, Macca?
I haven't. No. No, but don't worry, guys. I'm not one for spoilers. You crack on because I've played Dark Souls games, and to be honest, I appreciate my sanity, so it's why I don't play them that often.
Fair enough.
I mean, this one is obviously the more forgiving than most. Like we talked about this last week as well, because you can kind of power yourself up and get yourself ready for sort of certain encounters, and it's the more you put into the game, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Type of an affair, but it's the literal fact of like the game might decide to just click its fingers and have some random shite happen to you. Like I've seen some stuff happen to people on the videos and such.
Is it
much of
it?
Like one. Sorry.
Is it harder than Dark Souls?
No.
It's about. I'd say it's roughly about the same, but because of the as in the difficulty of the enemies and all of that, bosses and things like that. But you've got to think the only reason it's that difficult is elevated or removed is because you've got checkpoints now that are right near boss doors and things like that. You've got less to go through.
And you've got an open world to go and grind your dude as well, right? So what I've been seeing is if you get to an area or a boss that you're struggling with, just go and explore somewhere else. Yeah. So you don't feel like, I mean, I personally haven't felt like I've been stuck in an area because, I have struggled at certain points, but I've just been like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go and explore this other part of the map or go and unlock some parts of the map I've not been to or go and grind, you know what I mean? And there's always something to do. And the world is so gorgeous, right? I mean, I played it for just over 40 hours now. And there's just so much to fucking do. Insane. I mean, how much of it have you played now, Darren?
I've probably only put in about 6 or 7 hours.
Okay. Have you done the first boss yet?
Not the first main boss, no.
No, okay. You have to let me know.
But I've been around a fair part of the map, sort of like exploring and poking my head here or there, and wondering if I should be in this zone at the moment, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But as you go through, you unlock obviously the sites of grace, and you can teleport freely between them.
Yeah.
And obviously your base when you unlock it as well.
Yeah.
I mean that's an easier aspect in itself. The fact that you can be running around the map, killing things, and then basically just teleport back to one of those sites of grace and spend your souls.
Yeah.
Whereas in previous Souls games, you'd have to run all the way back yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 100%. That makes it a lot easier. So I've been putting a lot of time into this game. I've actually beaten the first 3 main bosses in the game. But there's like over 80 odd bosses in the game, including, they're not the main bosses, but including like all the sub bosses. What's an interesting, I don't know, I'll get into that in a minute, but I've also tried the co-op. So I tried to help Peebs with boss number 2 a few times the other day, and we almost beat him, but then Peebs died and I ran out of time. I had to come off, but Peebs eventually did defeat that boss. The co-op works quite well actually,
yeah, I've tried it.
Yeah. However, right, and take from this what you will, I also have the game on PC, and I wanted to experiment on the PC version. So you're probably going to give me shit for this, but I don't give a shit. I started playing it on the PC, but I activated all the cheats. So I was invincible and infinite runes, all that sort of bullshit, just to see how much of the game you actually have to do to get to the end. So I actually ran through, just to dicking around. I actually ran through and completed the game, and it only took me just under 4 hours.
Oh right, if you just mainline all of the boss. Well,
and I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but all I'm going to say is, if you wanted to mainline it, most of the map you don't even have to go to, and like there is a path, and that's it, like, of where to go, and I found that really fascinating. So most of the game, so like 90% plus of the game is entirely optional, which is absolutely insane to think about. But if you're playing it properly, you probably need to do most of that just to level up your character and your gear, to be able to face get to that, because because the later stages are bloody super duper hard, which, so I'm just trying to get prepared for that on my Xbox version at the moment, just taking my time. Because
have you bought it on all 3?
Sorry?
Have you bought it on all 3 consoles, like all 3?
No, just on PC and Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not playing the PC version anymore. I'm just because the Xbox version is my main version. Because I'm playing it properly on there, exploring. I wanted to play it co-op on there. So after I completed it on the PC by cheating like a slag, I've uninstalled it. And I just literally just concentrate on playing on the PC. And people said to me, "Oh, will it make you not want to play it?" And I'm like, "No fucking way! I've been playing it loads on the Xbox."
Well, plus you've only seen like this. You've probably only seen about 75, 25% of the game.
If that. But what it has done is I now, in my mind, can map out the later areas of where to go, which is fantastic, right? But it's like last night I was playing some Elden Ring, right? And I was like, just looking at the map, I was like, I haven't really explored that area. I'm going to go down there, and I spent ages. I completed this like optional castle area. There was a boss in there. That was awesome. And then I was like, oh, there's another area. I fancy going there. I found a cave. There was this catacomb area. Rinsed that. There was a boss at the end. Awesome. And then I was like, oh, there's an island on the southwest of the map, like near where you start the open world. I was like, want to get onto that island. How the hell do you get there? So I went down to the beach, and I was just like, how the hell am I going to get to that island? Because I'll die if I go in the water. And this is what I love about these games, right? I'm running around the beach exploring, and there's obviously people leave their messages on the ground, right? So I look at the messages, and the messages are saying, cave ahead. I'm like, where's this fucking cave? Like, because loads of messages about this cave. I find the cave, it's tiny little opening, and this is the way, like, these sort of games are designed really well. Like, if you're looking at an area at a certain angle, you won't see a doorway or an opening until you kind of look at it in a certain way. So I found this cave opening, and bloody, it was massive. I went in it, and there was a boss in there as well, right? And he got to this boss area, and then there was more signs saying, just carry on. I was like, yeah, cool. And I come out the other side of this cave, and fuck me, taking me under the ocean, and I ended up on the bloody island. I was like, sweet as that.
Is there a nice site of grace waiting for you, so you can just teleport back there whenever you want?
Yeah, and that island has a church on it with a dragon statue. So basically, what that does is if you kill a dragon, you get a dragon heart. You go back there, you hand in the dragon heart, and you get an ability, which is fantastic.
Yes, yeah. I've seen someone use one on one of the bosses.
Yeah. So there's so much stuff to this game because, to be fair, right, I have been using a lot of the wikis online just to look at the map, just to kind of get a bearings of where to go and stuff, and where to farm. Because I've done a lot of farming to level up, just to make the game a little bit easier, and because you need the I'll just call them souls because it's easier. Runes for upgrading your weapons as well, right? So I've been doing that. But what I've also been doing is I've not been reading too much, if that makes sense. So I don't know all the secrets in the game, all the extra stuff. So some of the most great experiences or rewarding experiences I've had while playing the game, it's just been where I've been exploring an area and I'll come across stuff at random. So like, as I say, like random like caves or mines or just, like castles, and they're bloody massive. Or characters you meet. Like I randomly ran into this character who sells these super duper rune things to upgrade your super duper weapons. Because my main weapon I'm using is, that it's the halberd. The first horse guy you see,
the Tree Knight Spirit or whatever his name is.
So you kill him and you get his halberd, and it's really powerful, especially when you level it up. So that's my main weapon at the moment. It's bloody amazing. There's so much, and this is the thing about this game, right? There's so much in this world. Like, you play some open world games and they feel empty, right? This is just fully packed. I mean, the world is massive, but it's just packed full of secrets to discover, enemies to fight. It feels very lived in, right? And it's just fantastic to be in that sort of world. I mean, it is really hard because you will get fucked over at times, and I have had some genuine, like I mentioned last week, some genuine jaw-dropping moments within this game where I've gone to certain areas and seen certain enemies or characters just walking around the map, and some of them are freaking massive, and just that design is just it's amazing to me. It really, really is. And the thing is, I know people moan about the difficulty, but the difficulty makes the game. And I can really, hand on heart, say that after blasting through it, being invincible, cheating on the PC, it was a bit boring, to be honest. Yeah.
You just blitz it too quickly.
Yeah, you blitz it.
That's the thing.
Whereas if you're playing it properly, even if you farmed, because even though I've farmed, I'm like level 65 or something, there are enemies that can still one hit kill me, yeah, or can kill you in like 1 or 2 hits, yeah. So there's always that challenge there, and some of the bosses are very, very difficult as well, right? And what I like about it is it's that you're always learning something in this game as well. So like different enemies have certain attack patterns, right? And you learn them the more you play the game. and you learn the world as well. Like if you go back to areas, you'll recognize the scenery, where to go, and stuff like that as well, right? And these games are just a learning experience the whole time. You're always learning something new, finding something new. There's always that challenge. And also, what I like about it is, no matter how many times you die, I mean, this is me personally, no matter how many times I die, I don't get pissed off with the game. Well, there's been one time with that first boss, but generally I don't get annoyed with it. I'll respawn and be like, right, let's do it again. Let's fucking do it again. I know what I'm doing now, right? Apart from the first main boss in the game, I thought was a bit cheap, to be honest. But all the other bosses since then, have been okay, to be fair. But that first boss is really it's a kick in the balls, to be honest. And I know, like, a lot of people
say the same thing in theory, like going back to an older game that had like that I can remember having a first boss where I'm just like, holy shit, hold on. The dude with the nunchucks in the first level of Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, right.
On the 360. Was it 360 original Xbox? I think it might have been original Xbox.
Oh, it was OG Xbox, yeah, it was. Yeah, but the thing is, like, yeah, but what I'm saying is, right, it's such a difficulty spike because, you know, I've done properly the first 3 bosses in the game, and the first boss has been by far the most difficult. Really, really has. So I don't know if, like, I personally feel like that needs tweaking slightly. That's just my personal opinion. Or maybe people are getting there too early, right? At like under level 20 and just getting absolutely destroyed. But I finally beat him when I was level 20 and actually went up 2 levels after beating him. You get that many runes after killing him.
Nice.
But
I heard someone having a proper lose it session, like, against one of the bosses.
It's probably that first boss. I mean,
no, it wasn't.
Really?
I knew the exact boss because he was on it for about an hour and a half while I was in party chat.
Was it the second boss where, like, he has a second phase?
It was basically, all I'm going to say is Flaming Meteor, and if you've played the game, like, using your cheats, you'll know the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
He was like, literally, he was like, I got him down to the letter or whatever it is in the name, you know what I mean? Like, one more hit, fucking, like, I was like, what's that noise? And he was like, my fucking wall, I've had it, like that.
The thing is, right, I mean, the thing I'm loving about Elden Ring, right, is a couple of things, social things that I'm loving about it. And that is, one, obviously our Discord's been, I've never seen it so busy with people talking about any game. But also, I've seen some really good compilation videos of people playing the game and just really random things happening, right? So, you know, like, you got those horse sentinel guys, yeah? The tree sentinel guys are dudes on the horses. There was a really funny video I watched where the dude was fighting him and the horse bloke had no health bar left, so he needed 1 hit, but the dude was fighting him had like a tiny bit of health as well. And he was circling him on his horse. And then all of a sudden, one of those zombies comes up and hits him with like a torch, you know, a flaming torch, and just killed him. I was fucking pissing myself laughing watching that. It's like something I would have been so gutted. You know, and people just.
Have you seen the one where the guy gets knocked off of, I think, 2 or 3 stories off of ramparts, and he falls down and lands on like the thinnest little bit of ledge? And he's still got health, and the bloke's like, yeah, and then like a fireball just comes from nowhere and just annihilates him straight away before he can move.
There's so many random things that can happen in this game, but that's what makes it good. Yeah, I just love it. Like, I didn't think that a Dark Souls type game would really work in a big open world like this, and I've been proved wrong completely because it is a phenomenal experience, to be honest. And I really struggle. I'm struggling to see any game beat this out this year, to be fair. It's just so well made, so well done. It's generating a lot of conversation. So many secrets.
Have PR you couldn't pay for.
Yeah.
Like the From Software games just have a fan base that's so passionate. And I mean, people still bang on about Bloodborne. That was like a game that launched like about a year after the PS4.
Yeah.
People still constantly talk about that.
Oh, people would be talking about this game for years to come, because you know, even with the wikis online and stuff, like not everything has been discovered in this game. The map is so dense that you'll be spending hundreds of hours just trying to find every little thing in this to be sure, 100%. Yeah.
But then it's also opening up to all the speed runners and the no hit runs and the Pepe runs and the no armor
the
run,
naked club run.
That's what I love about it, because those things are so fascinating to me. Remember with the original Dark Souls, people like doing the speed runs and saying their loincloth, and I was just like, how insane is that? And 100% you're going to start seeing that for this very, very, very soon. If they're not even out already, I don't know, but if they're not, they will be out soon, because you can certainly do that if you've got the skills. Yeah. So cool.
See, I enjoy watching the game. I enjoy watching streams of Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3, and I love them. I love the games, but I just can't play them. I get too angry about it. I don't know what it is.
And or you get those ones where you're watching people playing it, and you're just thinking, come on then. Why isn't he doing that fucking move? He always uses that move on me. He's not doing it on this person. Why? Like,
well, I think it leads me in a false sense of security, because I sit there and I watch a stream and I go, yeah, that looks quite good. That looks quite an easy game. And then I play it and I think,
I know how to do it.
Yeah, PlayStation 5 controllers are worth too much money to be thrown against the wall.
100%.
Both of them are. In fact, like, I've got an Xbox controller that's pretty much at it at the moment. What's the worst buttons, obviously, for being robust on the Xbox controllers?
Yeah, your bumper buttons, 100%.
Yeah, and how many games now have bumper buttons as the main button that use constantly? It's fucking stupid. So I've got the R bumper, which is like light attack for obviously a ton of games, or attack in certain other games. It's just now just bust. It's lost the spring or whatever it is out of it. It doesn't click or anything.
It's a common issue on Xbox controllers. Like, we was in our WhatsApp group this week. Peebs was saying that he's got an Elite controller too. He's only had it for just over a year, and then they're about £200 those controllers. And his right bumper buttons,
like 2 days after his warranty came out.
So he's fucking fuming because wants to play Elden Ring with the controller and he can't because his right bumper button's fucked. So he's having to.
And the standard controller is like £55 is like the cheapest I've sort of seen it, which is like just as generic RRP.
Yeah.
Unless you want the white one, which for some reason is £5 cheaper, even though it's just the colour white.
Yeah.
I got the red camo one.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, the worst controller I ever broke was a Scuff PS4 controller.
Well, they're not cheap. Those Scuff ones, fucking hell.
No, it wasn't. And when it left my hand going towards the wall, it dawned on me and thought, I've just thrown £200 worth out of my hands at this solid brick wall, and it's not going to win. And I picked it up and I've just gone, I won't tell the wife about
that. Yeah,
that's it. They're like, you're looking at like controllers now cost more than games.
The thing is, I think the Series X controller is really solid piece of kit. I really
it's
like
not bad. Yeah, apart from the RB, it's just the fact that you're using it so much.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Things get weaker over time, obviously.
Yeah.
That's just life. So that died. Before we obviously bang on about Elden Ring for another sort of 5 minutes or so, I'll just mention the usual other games: Final Fantasy, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
Which had an update this week, so strangely enough, on the Xbox version. If you had any of the gear that was technically a microtransaction, it's now gone up in rarity.
All right.
But apparently this addition to the game isn't supposed to happen until, obviously, the expansion launches this week.
Right.
So, and if you had any runes socketed in some of those outfits, they've all disappeared.
Oh.
Just nice one. But yeah, you will be able to upgrade them another 3 levels on the on the quality bar.
Right. Okay.
But, yeah, that's out this week as well. The Dawn of Ragnarok expansion for Valhalla, and again, even that, while I'm running through, different visual style and everything, but again, it does like those overgrown foresty areas really, really well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game.
Like in the detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me done anyway. If you want to sort of carry on with a little bit more Elden and mention the other game you've been playing.
Yeah, so I don't really want to talk about much more of Elden Ring, to be fair, because I think we've gone over most of it. But yeah, I just think there's so many secrets in the game. I mean, in our chat room on Discord, there's always people going on about, oh, you know, I found this area and like I'll open this chest and it teleported me somewhere else in the world, and oh, I found this other thing. You know, there's always discussions going on, and you know, and this is what I really like about it, right? Because like most games come out and you can look everything up on a guide, right? You know, the information's there. But with this, it seems to circumvent it mostly on the internet, unless you want to read pages and pages of stuff, right? Because there's just so much content in this game. There's so many secret things and stuff that you can find in the world is just so massive. And this is what, as I say, this is what I just really like about it. It's just so dense and there's just so much to do.
Yeah, I mean, I missed the character completely from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's easily done.
I didn't meet them early enough, and I, through randomly wandering around the map, had saved somewhere else, been whisked off to another part of the thing where you kind of unlock your home base there.
Yeah.
And once you've done that, that character then disappears out of the early area. So I was like, because some guy was like, oh, if you go and see this character, they'll give you that for free. And then I went back there and I was like, there's no one here, mate. And it's like at night, and I was like, yeah, no one here. He looked it up and he was like, oh yeah, they've disappeared now. They'll reappear later in the game. I was like, at least I haven't like missed out on them completely. But
yeah, it's easy to miss stuff like that first church. I didn't go there for ages in the game. And so
really,
yeah, I just didn't even think to go there. So like for about, I didn't actually unlock the the fucking bonfire. I know it's called the Site of Grace.
Site of Grace, yeah.
Yeah, until about 10 hours of gameplay because I just never fucking thought to go in there.
Lols. You didn't get the crafting kit or nothing then?
No, I went back there and bought it later on because I was reading a guide because I was like, how do I get these things to summon in people? Oh, I need a crafting kit. Oh, you need to go there. Because the one thing that Elden Ring doesn't do...
Churches have got good stuff as well.
Yeah, Elden Ring isn't very good at explaining things to you, and that is one of the little bugbears.
No, I had to actually watch a video. You'll laugh.
Yeah.
Watch a video how to use the summons.
Yeah, I'm not going to laugh at that.
Obviously,
mate, because
it has.
I have no idea.
You have it, and I know the symbol comes up when you can use them, but I can't select it to use it unless I went into my menu.
Yeah.
And selected it to use, and I'm like, that's not going to be in the middle of a fight, is it? To pause it, go through my menu to find it, and then someone's like, oh no, you have to equip it to where all your pots and that are. I was like, oh right, yep, nice one. Game didn't tell me that as far as I remember, but hey.
Yeah, it took me ages to figure out how to do the multiplayer. I had no idea, and that is a complaint that I think a few other people do have as well. It's just the game doesn't tell you anything, and that is a problem. You get an item and you're like, well, what the fuck does that do? As I say, like I had to ask, like, I was in party chat with people who had to explain to me how to do the multiplayer. I was like, I have no fucking idea. But yeah, apart from that, the game is amazeballs, and I think that's about all that we should really say about it, because I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it again next week.
More than likely. Probably talk about it for the next 3 months.
Well, yeah, more than likely.
I would get it, but I wouldn't play it. That's the problem. Not enough time.
Yeah, Dingles, mate. Okay, so I've only played this for about 20 minutes, half an hour. So I literally the only other game I played this week, apart from Gran Turismo. Oh, I do want to say actually with Gran Turismo, I did stream it on Twitch, and some Australian bloke was watching, and he joined the community. So big shout out to Tomahawk79 if you're listening into the show. Super cool to have you. Yeah, so the last game I played is on PC Game Pass only, and that's Total War Warhammer 3. It's actually quite good, but the fucking hell, it's a big download. It's like 120 odd gig. Bloody massive.
Well, yeah, they're massive games for those communities as well. Like the Total War games have got a big following.
Yeah, so I've not actually. I played Total War Warhammer 2, but I couldn't be fucked with it, so I deleted it. I got it for free off someone, one of my mates, who I used to work with, but never really got into it. But this one's obviously been getting a lot of good reviews. Obviously, the series is well renowned on the PC, and I thought it's on Game Pass. It's got Chivos. Fuck it, I'll give it a bish bash bosh. It's actually quite good. So it gives you, if you want to do the tutorial, that's literally all I've done. But the tutorial is like its own story, and it kind of gives you the backstory of the game. So it's really worth doing. And it just runs over how the game works, and it's actually quite impressive. The grand scale, to be honest, because you're controlling a large army, and your versus obviously a large army, and then you send your dudes off to war. But it's you got like your archers, your swordsmen, your spearmen, and all that sort of stuff. And the cool thing is, like, it's very tactical. You've got the battlefield, and it's like if you have the high ground, obviously you've got an advantage. But you don't just like click on your squads and send them off. You can like click on a squad, and then you can drag where they're gonna go with your mouse, and it sets them up, and you can drag them into a formation. So like a really long line, or like a less line, so they're quite bulky. And then you can like do like a line of like your swordsman, line of spearmen, and then at the back have your archers, right? So it's all those things you've got to think about. And then it teaches you about the different maneuvers, like trying to pincer your enemy, so you can kind of split them up or whatever. So that was really cool. The graphics are pretty decent, to be fair. You can really zoom in as well.
How many factions are there in this one?
I don't know, because literally all I've done is the tutorial, so I've not actually dug into the game, like how many factions there are, because I know it's like the humans versus the orcs or whatever. You can choose either or, right?
I know there's usually loads of different factions. They added like undead and.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've literally. This is what I'm saying.
Like, I think they added.
I've literally just played the tutorial, but it's quite cool because it has a little story to it. So it's like there's this overworld, and you've got your dude, and he's walking around, and then you get into battles along the way on this story, and then you have little choices to make along the way with the story as well. But it is a game that I will be going back to playing. Because it is just quite cool just to chill out, sit back and play, right? And I'm really pleased with how it runs on my PC, because obviously I've got a very good graphics card, but my CPU is quite dated now. So I was a little bit concerned, because these games are usually quite CPU intensive, because obviously the amount of stuff going on the screen, right, with all the different characters and AI all ongoing, right? But maxed out the graphics, and it runs really smooth. So I'm really impressed actually how it runs. So that was really fantastic. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say on it, because I've literally just given it a quick go, and yeah, I quite liked it. So, yeah, good times. Right, okay, so I'm gonna get into the news, and there's been a little bit of news. So I've already talked about the Gran Turismo bits and bobs I wanted to talk about, which I've got on my notes, which is cool. But I wanted to mention Grand Theft Auto 5 is being re-released on the Xbox Series X and the PS5 shortly. Maybe, I think it's like in a month or two.
But what I had 25th or 26th of this month.
Okay, well there you go. But what I'm having a chuckle about is they're reselling the campaign. 40 quid.
Oh, right, so it's not like a free upgrade if you own the game already?
Nope. Obviously, the multiplayer is free, But if you want to buy the campaign again, it's 40 quid.
Wow.
So it's spanned.
Bought out by EA.
Fucking mad, isn't it? So it come out on the Xbox 360. So you had to buy it on there. Then you had to buy it for the Xbox One if you wanted to play it on there. And if you want to play it on the Series X or S or whatever, you need to buy it again on there. Fucking mental. And you can guarantee it's going to sell like hotcakes because people can't get enough of GTA 5, can they?
Yeah.
One of the biggest selling games of all time.
It is.
Wasn't a fan.
So. Oh, I loved it, man. I completed the campaign twice. It was fantastic, but no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to buy it again. I got it on PC, so. Okay, so a couple more bits of news. Microsoft and Nintendo have stopped all sales in Russia now. So with Microsoft, they've stopped, selling all physical and software related things in that country, whereas Nintendo have shut down their eShop in Russia. So if you're in Russia and you try and get to the eShop, it will just says it's in maintenance mode. So good on Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo for that. So that's fantastic. Another bit of Nintendo news, though, which I thought was quite funny. So for those of you that don't know, the Steam Deck is finally out. So if you don't know what it is, it's a portable device which allows you to play your Steam library on it. Not every game. I think it's like 95% or something of your library you can download to it and play. Some games you can't. So like Destiny 2 is a prime example, which you cannot play on the Steam Deck. But also because it's a portable PC, it's open source and all that stuff, right? You can obviously put emulators on it, and apparently it's a very good emulation machine because it's quite powerful. Whereas people have already figured out how to run Nintendo Switch games on the Steam Deck, and apparently they run very, very well. But what's quite funny is obviously Nintendo have cottoned onto this, and every single YouTube video that tries to teach people how to do it is getting struck by YouTube for copyright claims, obviously for Nintendo, and they're getting taken down. So I just find that quite funny. So my piece of advice to you, if you do want to know how to do it, have a look on another video service like Rumble or something, because they won't be taken down off a site like that. Just a top tip from Webby there. I do love a bit of emulation. So crack on for that. Obviously, I don't have a Steam Deck. One of our community members has got one and is really enjoying it. You will at some point soon be able to buy a dock for it as well, so you can actually use it on a screen and use it as a mini PC. So it is a fantastic piece of kit, to be fair. So yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. And
Nintendo Switch.
What's that, mate?
Goodbye, Nintendo. That's a Switch killer, that is.
I mean, it is in a way where, because if you know what you're doing, right, you can just run every Switch game on it, and they would run a lot better than on the Switch. But the Nintendo Switch is, for
it's its library,
a normal market.
Library,
yeah. You're not going to get a hell of a lot of people really that are going to buy a Steam Deck just to play Switch games on, right? Or a lot of people don't have the know-how to put emulators on the machine, etc., etc. So, there's definitely a big place for Nintendo Switch, 100%. However, the Nintendo Switch was hacked years ago anyway. If you have one of the launch systems, so you can just get every game for free on there anyway, if you so wish. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the Steam Deck is definitely very reasonably priced. Like the middle tier model is 450 quid. I can't remember how much the top model is. So there's 3 SKUs for it with different storage types, and the middle one, the top 2 tiers have the better, faster storage. Yeah, so those are the ones that I would recommend getting. The bottom tier has the slowest storage and has the least amount of storage. Even though it is expandable, you can put an SD card in it as well. But yeah, I mean, for 450 quid for the middle tier one, you could use it as a mini PC and play Steam Library and play a load of emulators on it. I think that's not bad valued. So, that's quite good. That is all my news, actually, for this week, guys. Have you guys got anything you wanted to add?
No, not really. Not from me.
Well, yeah, I think one of the predictions I made last week came true with Babylon's Fall not doing particularly well.
Yes, I did look on Metacritic today, actually, at that.
I mean, it's
not great,
like last week. I talked about this. I played the demo. It's parts of the game I quite liked, and parts of the games I just didn't like at all. One of the main things against it is it's a games as a service, season pass driven, constant live service game, and I just didn't think it was going to do particularly well. And to launch something like that amongst Elden Ring, which has done some pretty phenomenal sales numbers, I think there was like about 1 million or so concurrent players of that on Steam.
Yeah.
Which is like massive for a Souls game. Like I think the previous one before that is like your Dark Souls 3s and Sekiros and stuff, because obviously they came out more when streaming was a thing.
Yeah.
And that's just the sales on PC. Like that doesn't include like sort of like the Xbox and PlayStation platforms where they did release sort of sales numbers for that, didn't they? For the physical.
Yeah.
It was like 80% of the sales were on PlayStation. That's 19 or somewhere around that for Xbox or something, and the remainder is PC. Bearing in mind this is just the physical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Babylon's Fall. I mean, I'm looking on Metacritic now. The PlayStation 5 version has a 41 Metascore, which is god awful, and the user score is 2.6.
Yeah, I think I saw something online where it was someone posted up like a current player peak on Steam of like about 1,200 players or something.
Wow.
Which is dreadful.
That's just
like especially for a live service game. It's just one of those ones where like as soon as it was announced as a live service, like the interest just died. The similar thing happened with Godfall, to be honest. I think a lot of people were kind of like, this game looks interesting. What kind of game is it? And then it's like, oh, it's an always online live service. And they all right.
Yeah, I mean, on
like,
PC...
it's a shame that these games don't do particularly well, because obviously some people have like put their work and effort, and the soundtrack for the game's great, and you can sometimes lose good soundtracks in a terrible game.
Yeah.
Or a game that just dies off.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a review now on thegamer.com of the PC version, and they've given it, right, a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 5, sorry. 1 star.
Right.
I don't know what, and I'm looking at the PC, because obviously you get the different review, the Metascores to different platforms. On PC, there's no actual Metascore for proper reviews, because there's only been 2. One of them's not been graded yet, but the only one's given it a 20. But the user score is 0.8 on the PC version. And obviously,
because it's one of those games where, again, it just wants you to put all the time in.
Yeah.
Just put like tons and tons of time in it, and you are generally just running the same sort of like the different levels and floors that you go up in the tower, or whatever they call it, the ziggurat, I think it is, or something like that.
But isn't Square Enix a weird publisher? Because like they're so up and down with their games. Like they pump out some proper amazing quality titles, and then they go and put out some garbage. It's like you just don't know what you're going to get with them sometimes, do you? And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, was this game kind of released to die? Because you might have 1 or 2 people, but I can't imagine loads of people going, oh, what game are you really looking forward to playing in February or March, early March? Babylon's Fall, mate. What, not Horizon or Gran Turismo or Elden Ring or...
I don't know why they didn't just fucking delay it then.
King of Fighters. I mean, you've got Borderlands coming out soon. You've got a few other games sort of due out this month. I can't see people wanting to jump into something that doesn't particularly look great because of the aesthetic art style they've gone with it.
Yeah.
And to require you to put in so much time when there's so many other games out there more deserving of your time, because you could literally jump in and out of these other games whenever you want. You're not going to be losing out on stuff in Elden Ring if you're not playing it now, or various other games. Whereas Babylon's Fall, you've got like a season that's running. Once that season's done, you've missed out.
I mean, and it's priced awfully on PC. I'm looking at it on Steam right now. The cheapest version is 60 quid. I just think that's insane, especially for a PC game. And every single review is a
so it's not exactly news. It's just an unfortunate thing of a game that I don't think people were that interested in. Like, I mean, this is a game that might have actually got a better audience or player base if it launched at a quiet time when there wasn't really much else about.
Yeah.
But land it slap bang in basically the equivalent of like an end of year crazy period.
Yeah. Fucking nuts, isn't it? Cool. Is that all the news? I've only got a couple of questions, and we're pretty much almost at the end now. Anyway, so.
Well, the only thing I read up on really this week was House of the Dead remake for the Switch.
Ooh.
That was supposedly released December 2021, got put back. It's coming out April 2022, but someone has found out where the company posted their financial sort of records for the year, etc., that it's listed as a possible PS4, PS5 release.
Oh, cool.
So it might not be an exclusive Nintendo title now. It could be coming to certainly PlayStation, they reckon, possibly, which would probably then mean there's an Xbox or a PC one shortly, or if not at the same time. So
brilliant.
Which, yeah, I mean, is good for most people.
But yeah, but the thing is, right, I mean, those sort of games are only really good playing with a light gun, to be fair.
Right. And they are, yeah. And unfortunately, in the world of today with LEDs and monitors and 4K OLEDs and things like that, light guns simply don't work anymore.
No.
So, which is bad.
It's a crying shame.
Yeah. But you know, it's House of the Dead.
I know.
It's classic. It's one of them. I'd probably steal my son's Switch just to play it. To be fair.
Yeah. I mean, on the Switch, obviously, you can use the Joy-Cons, the nunchucks, can't you? Like, and move them around and shit. But they're not. They're never as accurate as obviously as the old light gun games. Unfortunately.
No, I mean they did try and emulate that with PS3, didn't they? You had Time Crisis 4 where you had to. But even before the camera, you put two sensors on the corner of each of you, on each top corner of your telly.
All right.
Time Crisis 4 worked that way, and it kind of, but it wasn't accurate. It was far from accurate. It was actually, it was worse than the Wii. Put it that way.
Oh, the Wii, shocking.
The Wii worked very well considering. And then they went down the camera route with the PS3, which obviously brings us up
to with the move controllers and stuff.
The move controllers,
giant dildo controllers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, them games have to be played on a CRT TV.
And most defo.
But yeah, it's it'd be good if that sort of classic game got a wider release than just the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
That's all I read up on.
Cool, man. All right, I've got a couple of questions anyway, so that's cool. Neil Holding on Facebook asks, anyone else not over the complete disappointment of Battlefield 2042? My favourite franchise and reason I bought next gen console. It's been so terrible.
I think I did hear this week as well that the something like there's more people playing the older Battlefields than there are 5.
Yeah.
Than 2042. Sorry.
No, yeah. So Battlefield 5 is actually more popular, which is insane. But Neil goes on to say, he says, everything about it is terrible. The maps, the lack of detail within interiors, the specialists, the graphics, the modes. It's absolute travesty. And I will never, ever pre-order a game ever again, he says. And he does have a point there.
Why I still don't understand why people pre-order. Like, I can understand people pre-ordering physical games, but pre-ordering digital games is just like, what?
Sometimes you get the pre-order bonuses.
They're not going to run it. Yeah, I know, but just if you are going to pre-order it, just do it a day or two before.
Yeah.
Just do it when you're going to download the upload, start pre-installing it. Do it then.
Yeah.
Don't do it months and months in advance.
No,
it's silly.
Yeah, I feel the same. But I feel the same about Battlefield. Even though I have had fun on it, it doesn't live up to the standard of previous titles, especially like Battlefield 3 and 4. And I can understand why people feel cheated, because it was advertised. Yeah. Like, the next modern one, to rival, Battlefield Bad Company 3 and 4. And it, and I'll be the first to admit, like, when I watched the trailers and that, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, they're bringing it back. It looks amazing. And then you heard all the news about bringing back the old maps, some of the old maps and stuff. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be like the old times. And it comes out and it's a shit show. And I think, people have lost a lot of trust in EA because of this, but I think a lot of people have also lost trust in gaming, gaming in general now, because it's making people step back and think, well, we have had a couple of awful years of video games, and only this year is starting to make a little bit of a comeback. But still, I think people are going to be wary. Well, you should be wary, right? You shouldn't be pre-ordering, as you say, like months in advance anyway. But you should, I think it's made people step back and think, yeah, I shouldn't pre-order. I need to be more wary. But also, I think DICE and EA have lost a lot of good faith with a lot of gamers. I mean, I think even now, if they completely fixed Battlefield 2042 and made it, the best thing since sliced bread, I still don't think many people would pick it up anyway, because they don't, because they have lost that good faith, and it's a shame, because I think Battlefield 2042 is never going to get a good player base now, ever, even if it's amazeballs.
I think that's where the Games Pass comes in, because I must admit, I saw Battlefield and I thought, this looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it looks like it could finally. And I'm a Call of Duty fanboy. I ain't gonna lie. I've played Call of Duty since day one, and I'm like, I've never played a Battlefield game that's come close to Call of Duty. But obviously, Call of Duty has been going backwards the last few years, and this Battlefield looked amazing.
Yeah.
And then I went, EA, if you've got the Games Pass, the EA side of it, they will give you 10 hours.
Yeah.
They will give you a 10. They will give you a 10 hours trial. I'm just going to wait for that. And I played the trial and I went, this is absolute, and pardon the French, dog shit.
Yeah.
I'm not buying this. And that's it.
How many times have, say, Activision or Call of Duty kind of like fumbled the ball, and literally Battlefield comes out at the same time and just steps on a landmine?
Yep.
They time and time again.
Yeah, they could have done. 100% agree.
Battlefield could have been the first person shoot 'em up of this year. They really 100%. Could have done, because Vanguard is just god awful. It's probably, if not one of the worst CODs I've played in the last 5 years, and there's been some real trash. But all it's done is just push people more to playing Tarkov and games like that for their first person shoot 'em up games. So it's like the whole Battlefield, and the way I look at it, Battlefield and COD is kind of like the old Nintendo Sega rivalry. Battlefield being Sega, COD being Nintendo. You're always going to have COD, but Battlefield's just dead. It's dead in the water now. There's no way. I don't think EA could bring the Battlefield name back. It's been
tarnished. I mean, it's not just Battlefield 2042. In my opinion, you had Battlefield Hardline, which was dog shit. Then you had Battlefield 1, which was okay. Then you had Battlefield 5, which was okay-ish again. And then, in my mind, 2042 was going to bring it back, right, to the modern era, and it was going to be amazing. And again, well, this has been the worst Battlefield in many years. You know, so in my view, there hasn't been a good Battlefield game since Battlefield 4. And that, you know, when did that come out? Like 2012? That's 10 years
and that
ago,
had
man.
its issues on launch.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good Battlefield game in 10 years. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think you're right. The name. I mean, they've killed the brand because no one's going to trust it again. 100%. Right? And there used to be a time. The same with Call of Duty, right? There used to be a time where you'd get so excited for the next game in the franchise to come out because I used to be, a massive COD fanboy. You know, COD 4 is still my favourite COD of all time. I had such good fun on that. But then you had the Blops and all that. Great games. And, Call of Duty and Battlefield used to go toe to toe, right? And used to have the arguments, oh, COD's better than Battlefield, oh, Battlefield's better than COD. Now it's like, there's other games. Yeah. There really is. There's so much competition in the first person shooter space now that, the two kings, in my view, are now they're just dead, and there's just a lot of games out there, and it does make me sad because back in the day, then everyone used to be playing one of those two games. So you always guaranteed to be playing with your mates, and now everyone is so spread out on all these different games, it makes it really difficult.
Rightfully or wrongfully, I know it's a bit, as what's going on in the world right now, but I feel one of the possibly best first-person shoot-em-ups this year is going to be World War 3 on the PC.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that because I've got it. I bought it when it was in early access, and then I think it got bought out by another studio. And what's really not, I tried to play it again, and you have to download a separate launcher now. So you open it with Steam and download it for a separate launcher.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that great at the moment, but it's still in early access, so time will tell.
I think what they will do with that is exactly what Tarkov did, though, and listen to their community.
I hope so.
And it will grow, where I think Call of Duty, like Activision, Call of Duty, and Battlefield, I think they've just completely disregarded their community.
Yeah.
And have just decided to release what they feel like is good enough. And obviously it wasn't good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I think the elements of World War 3, and I've seen it. I've got it myself, and I've played it all of about. I didn't want to talk about it tonight because literally I've only played it for about 10-15 minutes, just to give it a whirl. But it's very much it feels like an old-fashioned COD to me. It feels like a very old boots on the ground, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 era of COD. It feels very much like that.
So I think it feels like the old Battlefields. When I played it, felt like playing Conquest on the old Battlefield games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I just think with the way that they're gonna, the potential that they've got with that, because it's still in that early stage. The same with Tarkov. Tarkov. I know someone that's been playing Tarkov for 6 years or however long it's been out for.
I mean, World War 3's been in different stages because I actually bought that at least 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it has changed a lot over that time.
Yeah. And I just think that if they put the time and they put the effort and they listen to the community, they can make it a new Tarkov. They can give it a good, real.
Yeah, but isn't Tarkov having some issues now because it's made by Russian dev, isn't it? And I think they're having some.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, that's out of the devs' hands, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's what's been going. That's out of their hands. It's not that they've made a bad game. It's just simply the world economics and what's going on in the world has stopped them from doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
But you can't deny that Tarkov is one of the biggest games on Twitch.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
It's one of the most popular games on Twitch. It's one of the most popular games to play. So, it's. I think I think this has potentially got the foundation.
Yeah.
To be a COD.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I actually bought this in 2018. I'm just looking on Steam now. So 4 years ago. Crazy, man. Believe that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man. Good, man. So getting to some other questions. There's not been many. Where was I? I can't really remember now.
You're on Facebook.
I know I'm on Discord now. So Wes says, is Darren thinking of getting a Steam Deck so he can play Final Fantasy 14 at work?
No.
That'd be really funny though if you did. That was an easy answer then. Dazpoz asks, do you plan on doing an Elden Ring special? He says, because I need as much help as I can before I put a hammer through my Xbox. We'll probably do one at some point, but we haven't played it enough ourselves to really evaluate it and do a whole podcast on it. But I'm sure that'll happen in a few months or so, 100%. Because I remember when we did our Dark Souls one back in the day, that was really popular. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. Last question from D20 says, now that some of the big hitters are out, what other games are you looking forward to for the rest of the year?
For me, it's really sad. I know, and I know I've said this on podcasts many a times before, but the fighting collection with Darkstalkers.
Oh yeah, the Capcom fighting thing. Yeah,
with rollback netcode. It's like, for me, that's that's me, really.
Is Final Fantasy 16 out this year?
I
think so. Later, they're releasing.
No, I don't think it's going to come out this year because of it's been delayed because of the pandemic, and they don't want to show us anything until nearer the time, I guess. So we might see some more of it. E3 sort of period, maybe.
What's the new one that they've got on the PlayStation Store that is coming out? Strangers of Paradise.
Oh yeah, that's out this month as well. Yeah,
yeah.
Is it Team Ninja?
I think so. Yeah.
That are co-producing it, or
just look. Yeah, Team Ninja, Tecmo, Square Enix. Yeah. Final Fantasy Origin, Strangers of Paradise, which I take it is more of an expansion. I've not really looked into that one that much. So
kind of a spin-off game, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Oh, what like they did back in the PlayStation 2 days where they released like what is it, Crisis Core and things like that.
No, it's not. It's like its own game, yeah, but it's like not a mainline Final Fantasy game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Looking at some of this World War III gameplay, it looks like it's improved. Actually, I might download it and give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, you got God of War if it releases this year.
I don't think that will come out this year.
No, I don't think so either.
Starfield if that launches this year.
Breath of the Wild, apparently. Breath of the Wild 2 apparently is coming out this year.
Project Eve, if that's out. You got Bayonetta 3, I'll probably be this year.
Nice.
Like I mentioned, House of the Dead remake.
Oh, not much else, is there?
Street Fighter 6, was that launching this year?
Some of those sort of like isn't that Dungeon Fighter or something possibly out this year?
Never even heard of that, I don't think. Dungeon
Fighter?
It's
Arc System Work doing sort of like a beat 'em up with like, is it Dungeon Fighter or something like that? Like these characters from some fantasy web thing.
No idea, mate. I need to look into that. I don't know about it.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you're carrying on anyway. Thinking of a few others.
I can't think of any other games coming out, to be honest. I mean, I'm really happy with just... If no other games came out this year, I'd still be perfectly happy, to be fair.
Yeah, it's called Dungeon Fighter Duel.
Oh, okay. I see that Triangle Strategy's just come out on the Switch as well. I want to give that a bash.
Yeah.
That's getting some
came out this week, didn't it?
Brilliant reviews. Yeah, it might be one to
the
play.
The Octopath guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be one to play on the plane when I go to Aussie, so that'll be good.
I must admit, there's a lot coming out on the Switch this year, but they're not new. Like Zombie Army 4,
right?
That's getting a release on the Switch. You know, you got a lot of games like that that are already come out on old like other consoles.
Yeah.
seems to be coming out on the Switch. Yeah, you got Capcom Fighting Collection in June. I'm just looking. Test Drive Unlimited. That.
Oh yeah, the new Test Drive.
That won't come out. I don't think that'll be out this year.
Obviously, you've got Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, whether that comes out this year or not, or whether it comes out at all.
I don't think that's coming out at all this year. If it does come out, it'll be delayed until probably around this time next year or something.
Got Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. That's due out at some point by the end of the year, they've said. Grand Theft Auto, the definitive trilogy, is getting a iOS and Android release this year.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Grand Theft Auto Definitive Collection is what I was talking about earlier. The one I've been playing is getting an iOS and Android release this year.
Okay.
So, invest in the newest phones.
I think that's it, right? Yeah.
Probably missing a few ones that I've been banging on about for a while, to be honest, but I just can't think of them at the moment. There's some good stuff due out towards this year anyway. This year could actually be a classic for games.
Yeah, you never know, do you?
You got Street Fighter 6, late 2022 or sometime in 2023. So possibly this year could be next, but we'll wait and see.
Take as long as you want. I don't need another repeat of Street Fighter 5.
No, 100%. And like Clarky says, Skywalker Saga. I'm looking forward to that. The Lego one. That looks brilliant.
Oh, that'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing it. Oh man, we've been going on for 2.5 hours. We're definitely done. Definitely. Yeah. I've been sitting here busting for a wee for about an hour, so let's end it so I can go to the toilet. So it's been awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Piz on D, Steam ID, Webby, 60G.
Me, Big Macker 83.
And Sensei Switch.
So thank you very much. Don't forget, if you want to listen to the Patreon shows, you need to sign up, patreon.com/360gamercast. Just a little note on the Patreon. We've just added a new thing on it. If you sign up for a full year, you get a 10% discount, and we already had one person sign up to that in the past week. So that's just something to think about if you want to sign up. And obviously, Twitter, Facebook, and all the usual stuff. You know where to find us. But join the Discord. It's the most important and most social place to be in the community at the moment. So if you're not there, you are certainly missing out. And if you want to know where the link for that is, head to the website 360gamercast.com. The link is on the front page there. Again, shout out to all the people listening live on Twitch and joining in the chat. Big Macca, hello. You chatting on real life in the podcast and on there. So good for you. Greasy Fish Lips, Clarky. Thank you very much for joining in. And yes, Clarky, we did have a lot of great nights on Battlefield back in the day, and I do miss those terribly. So from all of us here, it's been awesome, and we should hopefully see you next week. Goodbye.
Granblue Fantasy Relink.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
The game I'm really
I'll be back in
looking
a minute.
To this year if it does come out. I knew there was a big one I was missing out.
That I haven't played. Is that a fighting game or is that an RPG?
No, basically, obviously, Granblue Fantasy is one of those like gacha mobile games in Japan.
Yeah.
That sort of like blew up really big, became like one of the biggest sort of like games of its type. And then they obviously decided to make proper games out of it. Which I like to say is like ones that aren't just restricted to mobiles and run on gambling mechanics. We obviously got the fighting game that came out, and they're bringing out. It's sort of like action adventure RPG.
Yeah, Yeah.
But it looks really well stylized. And apparently Platinum Games did all the combat sort of stuff for it. But this would have been years ago because this game's been in development for about 4, 5, 6 years now. The Granblue Fantasy Relink.
Is that is it different? It's not out now then.
No, it's been due out like for about 3 or 4 years, but every time it gets close, it kind of just disappears.
Oh right.
And then I was hoping because they kept delaying it. I thought, they're probably hoping for PS5. Like they can just push it over onto that. So I think it's now cross, so you can get a PS5 version, which would be better because obviously, for games of that kind of art style and everything, the crisper the resolution, the better.
Okay. Oh, I've just seen I can get Triangle Strategy on the PC as well.
Oh, there you go.
Or
on the Steam Deck, if you get a Steam Deck. It's a pity you didn't get one before you went to Australia.
Oh, it's just too much money, mate. You know, I don't spare 450 quid to just spunk on something like that, you know? So
the classic thing is if you were a pretty decent channel on YouTube or something, someone would give you one for free.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I really need to go, guys, because it's getting late.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very
nice
much.
one.
Yeah. Cool. Catch you
I'll
later,
catch
dudes.
you both next
Take
time.
care, guys.
Take it easy. See you.
Bye.
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 Bye.